Thank you. Please, after reading the caption of this broadcast, read the description as well, even though that doesn't really carry the whole story, but it gives you an idea of what this whole conversation is all about. After that, like the broadcast, yeah, at that point, it will be good for you to also share the broadcast. To invite your friends, your not so friendly friends, and tell them to join us. Maiyegun today, Maiyegun is live. Thank you very much, brethren. And you are welcome to the Temple of Truth. Again, sometimes people will say, oh yeah, you are a seer. How did you know that and all that? I'm like, no, come on. My own business is to get you interested in what is going on in that contraption, beyond the headlines, beyond the propagandas, beyond the lies, which is the propaganda, so that you can reflect on what you have access to know on Maiyegun's diary Politico. And they do help. They do help by guiding you to understand the characters in charge of the Nigerian political space. Generally, people believe or are kind of like agreed that the worst of us are those who are ruling us. I use us here like in general term, because whatever they do, good or bad, in fact, good and bad, right, affects millions of people. And that makes it our business. And once you realize the characters that are parading the political space of Nigeria, including the characters that are making decisions for the country, at the same time, these characters are also those who represent the interest of the country. And what they have done so far has shown very much that, they are the worst of us. Now, having known that, then we can go into understanding the consequences of their actions and their inactions by pointing out first their actions and their inactions. In a way, you are going to end up in the place that people like myself have been for a while, a place of stop trying to save this contraption. The best is to break it up. But you'll get there. I do not want to kill your enthusiasm or your optimism about this whole thing. But in reality, you can get to know that it's likely going to be effort in futility, hoping and hoping. Or maybe, just maybe something will happen once majority of you realizes where this is headed. And that is not where you wanted the whole journey to be. What do I mean by that? Once maybe the majority realizes these characters for whom they are, and that their words means absolute trash, nothing. And then you realize that if things continues like this and unabated, the end will be much, much catastrophic. So it's either you do something or you just follow the entire trajectory until you get to that situation and see those who survive and those who don't. The option or the choice will be yours. But you won't get to that stage without knowing, right? You will understand, like we have done, you will understand the entire things along the way. So you will stop lying to yourselves so that whenever Nigeria arrive at that that tragic end, as these guys are taking her, right? You are not going to feign ignorance then. It will completely be totally your own, either through your support, which is as an enabler. I don't like making it look like I'm speaking in parables round and round. So let's get down to it. You have supposedly a federal system of government, and you are again supposedly practicing democracy, constitutional democracy. Which is not, but we'll come back to that one. So you have a situation whereby the interest of the criminal politicians supersedes the interest, supposed interest of the people that elected them, which in itself is debatable, elected them. Many of them were not really elected because of the faulty electoral system that will keep producing them and continue to make their interest their priority rather than yours. So politics to them is a game, even when lives are being wasted needlessly. So to these guys, it is a game. And they have succeeded in convincing many people in that contraption that Nigerian democracy has not matured to the ideological level, where political parties will have ideologies that the citizens can relate with and say, okay, we are going to go with this. Now, if we don't get what they are saying, then we're going to drop them, going to go with this. A kind of a system that allows political, sort of like advancements that really represents the interest of the people. So they've convinced the people that Nigeria democracy is not ripe until maybe another 200 years, like America. And there are those who have agreed with them, pushing that narrative. Therefore, they can jump ship. You can see them come around and we come at one another during elections, pay their political auctions, right? Harm them to the point of violence and all that, okay? And then they get to that power only for them to now realize that, we're not actually enemies after all. There's no difference between us, whether I am in A or B. What really matters is that if our interest aligns, that's all that matters. Even if Nigeria is bleeding. Nigeria is a place where it is so obvious that the citizens are displeased, majority of them. As much as they have those, their, praise singers, their ass lickers, their crumb eaters, their crumb chasers, they are all risers, right? They are still not in the majority. So the angst or the anger among the citizens is very much obvious, but there is no real opposition to those in government, as it should be, because to them, they are just friends. The only time they are not friends is when they want to use anything for their own political leverage and all that, right? So Tinubu, for those who knows him very well, they knew that it's all going to come to this. All right. So Nigeria democracy, no ideology, no nothing, is about interest. So the former ruling party, PDP, who also got to the zenith, the crescendo of their own power in 2007, and then 2011. If some of you will remember, it was more or less like this too. They were so power drunk enough that they were so confident that we will rule Nigeria for the next 50 years until they disagreed among themselves. So Tinubu is on that trajectory to make you believe that, is it my fault if the oppositions are destroying themselves and everybody is coming to come and join me to make me your two-term president, making you look like fools. Like you are not aware of the entire, underhand push and all of that to decimate all these political parties, infiltrated them as much as possible to bring everything to this. Some are calling them cowards right now, the PDP governors and others who are rushing down to Tinubu because it has gotten to that. Do you want to win election in Nigeria? Do you want to keep your seat? Forget about what you have done. Join APC or risk it all. One party state. That's where you're going. And it's very sweet if you are benefiting from it. You know what I mean? You can rubbish every form of law or ethic or anything at all, as long as you have your way. It is either your way or the highway. So the latest, less than 24 hours, when I told you about the planned kind of like jumping the ship, is the guy. Before they have always been very much about Atiku. Atiku was the problem of their PDPs. It was very convenient. Even with the wiki was like, it was Atiku. So Atiku has left their party for a while now. And it seemed that, you know, the mask is off. Everybody needs to jump the ship. Diri, the Bayelsa State governor, Diri, just about 6 weeks ago, Diri was still the proud chairman of PDP Presidential Zoning Committee. Do you understand? Right? It was the one who led the team for PDP in their efforts of, you know, in their comeback efforts. So they now recommended that 2027 PDP must zone the presidential ticket to the south. And they agreed. Person we can't lead the committee that announced that for everything to be normal, they have to zone their ticket. The guy don't leave the party now. Do you want to know his reason? It's all the same. But it's because of my people, the people of Bayelsa, to enjoy the center, to and all that. So Tinubu is not using the election to get all these places right now. Without any election, without a gunshot, without anything to anybody said in public, right? The entire southern part of Nigeria is collapsing to APC, and that is going somewhere. So Diri, his own excuse or his reason.
Let our state know, citizens of Bayelsa, that we represent as elected members of the State House of Assembly, as an executive council of the Bayelsa State. We represent our people and as our citizens. So as representatives of the people, we have been in this saddle for about 6 years ago. By providence, I want to say that my deputy and I were elected under the platform of the People's Democratic Party, PDP. And subsequently, the people of the states honored me and my deputy for a second term in office. I want to, on behalf of us and the Executive Council, thank the people of Bayelsa State for this very rare privilege and opportunity. And we remain eternally grateful to our people. Now, having said that, today I wish to address a matter that has been in the subjects and the subjects of speculation and debate across party lines in Bayelsa State and even beyond. And so we are addressing that matter that has been speculation for some time. And we allowed the speculations, we allowed the debates. While that was lasting, we as a people, as elected representatives and appointed, we were also doing our own consultations. And after extensive consultations, today, the 15th day of October 2025, I wish to formally notify you that in keeping with the extant protocols, I, Governor Doye Diri, do hereby resign my membership of the People's Democratic Party. And I'm not going to resign alone. And as you can see, I'm here with Mr. Speaker, Deputy Speaker, and all the members of our party. are going to go with me. There are some who are not here because they are on official assignments. And so today, I have formally resigned my membership of the People's Democratic Party for very obvious reasons. Grateful to all my friends and supporters who have stood by us and with us. And I want to thank all of you again and again. And together we will continue to build a strong and virile Bayelsa state.
In the era, that's the governor of Bayelsa, which is Goodluck Ebele Jonathan's state. So meaning Bayelsa is now completely APC without any election. Just people switching, just like that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even know how these politicians act. Let's be honest. If the reactions of people to the economic situation, right, is being put into consideration, there is no governor that will say, I am joining APC because my people said I should join because they love Tinubu and all that. Everybody knows why they are. And they also understand what they want this to look like. You understand it more too soon. Because you are going to have the Taraba governor. You are going to have the Plateau governor. You're going to have there's a chance of Zamfara governor. Then you are going to have another one, Rivers. That one is starting. Another 4, right? I think there's another one. Adamawa governor for Atiku's state is also on his way to go and join APC as well. So in the next few weeks, we are going to see these 5 states turn to APC. So APC is going to have like 29 or 30 states or so, 30 governors, state assembly, national assembly, you know, that kind of thing. All of this is to give you the impression that if you don't think Tinubu wins his second term, if you think he reads it, it is because you are not living in reality. The man don't finish work already before election even come at all. Because as you know that he has the power to, to choose your INEC chairman, same way he has the power to choose all the 36 states electoral officers. I hope you remember that. And all these 36 state electoral officers, by the sheer connection they share now, means if APC eventually have like 29 governors, that is 29 states that the result will come from. In their own, by their permutations. So that's the picture they wanted to see. And right now, people are like, how is he doing it? People are complaining. But look at all these governors, everybody is decamping to join in because he must be doing something right. You know what I mean now? The impression. So the first person to react to this is Seriake Dixon. Seriake Dixon is the past governor. I think it's the immediate or civil? Okay, it was the immediate past governor of Bayelsa, and he's a senator now. So his reaction to this crashing of PDP or collapsing of the entire PDP in Bayelsa to APC, his first reaction.
But in Nigeria, everyone is rushing to the ruling party. You don't even know what is pursuing them or what they are pursuing. Huh? You don't really know what they are pursuing or what is pursuing them. But whatever it is, belittles our democracy and endangers our multi-party democracy. I believe in a multi-party Nigeria. A plural Nigeria can only thrive on a plural democratic environment. As in this case, The governor consulted me several times to his credit. And I was not convinced because I didn't see any compelling reason for a second-term governor to defect. No reason. And we know the issues in the PDP, but issues are there to be solved by the governors and the leaders. Have they not been the leaders of the parties? But that's where we are. I've not made a comment on issues about myself since I left. But I'm just using this to say that I am still standing gidigba in the PDP that gave my Bayelsa people, my Jaw people, and the Niger Delta people an opportunity to run election to emerge as vice president of this country, acting president of Nigeria, and president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, PDP. This other party cannot do that. And I'm standing there with the PDP. If we don't succeed in retrieving the PDP, in saving the PDP, then we'll be part of a collective decision, which again should not be the ruling party, because I believe there must be opposition. A democracy without opposition ceases to be democracy. It becomes dictatorship from that day. It becomes totalitarianism from that day. Position does not mean you have to be fighting. You have to be, here am I supporting the president's nomination. By the Constitution, it is the responsibility of the president to forward a name. Or in Nigeria,
sorry about that. So Seriake Dixon might be standing alone. You are right. If he thinks, okay, I'm standing where I am and the rest of all those stuff he said. But he is not wrong. No matter how you see it. I know Nigeria is not a real place. You get me now. But no matter how you see it, a democracy without opposition is to the detriment of the people. You deserve to have viable opposition. But unfortunately, it seems it's not in your control. Nothing is really in your control. They mention people when it is convenient for them, but it's mostly about them. Because if it was about the people, ordinarily there must have been consequences for people who did something like this. There should be consequences. People should react. Say, what are you doing? You are not only elected by your party supporters, millions of others also kind of, you know what I mean? Like, you can't do that. But no, it's not in your control. You just have to read about it, react to it, and then hope that something happened between them, that they will destroy themselves, and eventually you can have your own revenge and say, yes, see, God don't punish them. Yeah? I knew it. I knew that I was going to lose, but that is also not in your control, unfortunately. He is also not wrong when he said PDP gave them the chance to have somebody from Niger Delta as president of Nigeria by circumstance or whatever it is, but he became the president. APC won't do that, because currently what is trending is that especially these other southern governors, right? Especially the eastern governors, the Igbo governors. So what they are selling to them is that by 2031, right, Tinubu is going to nominate somebody like Ribadum, and then they will now give Southeast vice president slot. So Umahi wants to be vice president in 2031. So whatever he is saying, President Tinubu doing all this eye service, psychophancy, and all of that stuff, right, it's for this reason. And when he keeps telling you that the Igbos needs to align with the center, we need to stop this idea of Biafra and all this stuff is because he is eyeing that chance of becoming a vice president in APC. Unfortunately, it was the same devil Umahi, all because they told him that Bokwari was going to make the first Igbo president. He's going to hand over to the first Igbo president. So, devil Umahi is the favorite. That's what they sold him to join APC back then, in case if you have forgotten. And when they couldn't make him presidential candidate, he quickly aligned with this Tinubu's bandwagon and is compensated with the Minister of with the Ministry of Works. So right now he's on the queue to become vice president in 2031 in APC. Hopeless Uzodimba is also being promised or like being told that he could become the vice president in 2031. So now that they have brought this new shining piece, Pitamba, so he is also on the queue to become vice president in 2031. That means during his second term. So these kind of promises are out there that makes people feel like, APC won't really want anything to do with the East per se, but they can dangle it in front of them. Again, it's just what is trending out there. Okay. But to PDP, there are those who believes that PDP is done for. That wherever you see of PDP right now is just the caricature of the old, just the name. Because they missed the opportunity in 2023 when it was supposedly after a Fulani Muslim northerner, the northerner, which is Bokwari, about to finish 8 years. PDP should ordinarily have zoned their ticket to the south and specifically to the east for a reason. If they wanted to act like that, the National Party. And another thing is because since 1999, the eastern part of Nigeria remained so loyal in political news. They said eastern Nigeria remained so loyal to PDP. They've been voting PDP, and they have been punished for it, especially when the APC gained power. So, all that kind of talk. But PDP jettisoned all of that. Atiku and his gang got the ticket. The rest is history, according to this guy.
And that is what are they benefiting that other states are not benefiting?
Exactly.
Okay, well, politically, when you belong to the ruling party, you have access to the president, you belong to the national caucus of the ruling party. Perhaps there could be some interpersonal relationships between the president and some of the governors within his party that sometimes could smoothen certain kind of relationship between states and the federal government. But that as an aside, before he talked about a connection to the center, he said something about the southeast, Enugu specifically, being a very loyal and consistent support base for the PDP since 1998, and that at the end of the day, their voices were not heard. The party kind of disregarded the region, took the region for granted, and so that forms part of the reasons why he and some other people from that region are actually living into the ruling APC. And I think that for me is the most important reason why the PDP has lost influence, not just in the south, but across the southern part of this country. And in the prelude to the 2022 presidential primaries of the PDP, I had written extensively, well circulated, well publicized opinion articles, where we cautioned the PDP against the idea of jettisoning zoning of the presidency to the south by 2023, by leaving open its contestation for the presidency because of the winnability factor, which saw Atiku Abubakar taking the ticket of the PDP. We had warned that if the PDP does not zone to the south, and specifically to the southeast, that the party was going to run into troubled waters and sink into oblivion in the post-Buhari era, and that seems to be happening. So whatever crisis you are seeing in the PDP today, particularly the one happening in court today, is simply a symptom of a deeper ailment. You see,
the violation of zoning in the PDP was like a mortal sin that the PDP committed. And when he did that, of course, you know the good book says the wages of sin is death. The southern part of this country has been the most consistent support base for the PDP, especially when it fell from power in 2015. The southeast particularly was like the lifeblood, the oxygen that kept the PDP afloat. At a time that there was a strong agitation, 17 southern governors met in Asaba to say, look, we want the presidency to shift to the south. Expectedly, the APC is made up of an alliance between the north and the southwest, led by the current president, Amiputan Tinubu, who was then the leader of the opposition. But the PDP is an alliance between some sections of the north and the south, and especially the southeast. So one would have expected that while the APC would gravitate towards the southwest, coming to the south, the PDP should have gravitated towards the southeast, coming to the south as well. So in this instance, people like Atiku Abubakar and others from the north should have mobilized support towards the southeast. And in this instance, the party was so fortunate that they had a candidate or especially an aspirant, a figure then in the PDP, who was so phenomenally popular ahead of even the presidential primaries that everybody thought common sense. He ticks all the boxes. He's from the right part of the country. He has the qualities that have been able to galvanize and inspire such a level of followership as we've not seen before in Nigerian politics. And I'm talking about Mr. Peter Obi.
And they lost the chance.
They lost that chance.
Okay.
And they lost the southeast in the process. Look, you might be looking at the campaign today. Let me tell you something. Anambra State, which used to be a hotbed of PDP politics, had its governorship primaries some months ago. Nobody, not one single individual, picked the form to contest for the primaries on the platform of the PDP. And that is what I did.
Do you believe that? That in Anambra, there used to be the heavyweight of PDP's, rule. Today, nobody wants to even pick their forms that they want to be governor in Anambra State. And it's going to be like that in so many places very soon. So the other guy behind all of this, especially mentioning Peter Obi in this instance, right, is Werewike. If you remember his own role, Werewike he even went as much as buying the Anambra PDP delegates. That the Anambra PDP delegates rejected Peter Obi because of money. Because Werewike told them that he cannot win. He cannot win. He can't win. Give it to me. Give it me. Give me to confront APC. Give me the power. Give me power. Remember? So that way we ended up being with APC, and he said he's been taking flaps from people. That those who have been abusing him or saying things behind him, even in public, that he's responsible for what is going on, and all that, they have all joined the APC now. Others are in the process of joining APC. So he's going to call the media on them very soon and tell us some stories, as usual. Werewike in Abuja today.
I'm very happy, but very soon I will speak to Nigerians. I've been watching on daily television and social media people who said, I want to destabilize the party. I'm working for APC. All of them now are in APC. So, which means, if it is true, they should commend me for working for where they are heading to. So I should be commended for doing a good job for them. So, and I have told people that politics is for the mature people. Politics is not, you have to be very careful. And I have told people to know this. And let every state be sincere to their people and to Nigerians. I was a governor for 8 years. I was a governor running around banks to look for money to do projects. Sometimes, in every month, the money that will come will not be enough for paying of salaries and all other allowances, not to talk about doing a project. Today, by the leadership of somebody, by the decisive leadership of somebody who has made it possible for all the states and the Federal Capital Territory not to be running around banks again. Federal banks are now looking for states to say, look, don't throw us away, we are here. Somebody by his leadership has made that possible. Every state now has money, not only to pay salaries, not only to carry other government activities, but not to embark on projects. It was not like that before. So if it's for that reason, so many people are going to support Mr. President, I think it is worthwhile. I mean, because I don't see how somebody makes it easy for you, makes governance easy for you. Now, no governor will talk about leaving debt for his successor, unlike what used to happen before. That is leadership of somebody. It was not possible. If Mr. President did not take that decisive leadership, decisive decision to say, look, this subsidy must come to an end. Today, most states wouldn't have been able to pay salaries. FCT would have been difficult. So it doesn't matter the party you belong to. The truth must be told. When you see good leadership, you say this is good leadership. And that's...
So, did you hear that now? Nigeria's debt has doubled since Tinubu came to power. States are getting more money, but the local debt is also increasing. They are lying to you that they are clearing debt, and it's coming to light that they are even borrowing to pay off part of their debt in order to get into more debt. All this cover-up, all this doctoring of data and the rest, you should be the ones who feels it and say, well, it's true. Almost since they removed subsidy last song, every state in Nigeria, the poorest state in Nigeria is paying 300,000 naira per, a month, minimum wage. Things that you can say, oh, you know what? They are right. Oh, they have been constructing our roads. Schools have been renovated. New ones have been built. We have seen enrollment, like increased enrollment into schools because, they have more money to do all those things. They've hired more teachers. They've hired more doctors. They've hired more nurses. They have hired this, and you can say, Omo, is true. Let us be honest too. But that is not true. Yeah? But they are living in their own world that they believe strongly in everything they are saying to you, on the one hand. On the other hand, they are also telling you that, things are hard. We know that things are tough, but Mr. President is working to bring it down. And you're like, I don't understand. You're already saying that, because they did this, right, we have seen so much improvement in our lives and stuff like that. But they don't really relate, sort of. But yeah, it is always about interest. Don't ever forget that. It's always about interest. And that interest, you can ask whose interest? Their own interest. Makinde had this to say.
Whoever is trying to stop a moving train is probably also trying to commit suicide. So my advice is please no matter how highly placed, no matter what has transpired in the past. We don't want to see anyone dead. So please don't commit suicide. Governors defecting, senators defecting. I already addressed that. We're not concerned and we're not bothered because the ultimate decider here will be the Nigerian people. And the only time I'll be concerned, or the only time that we will be concerned as a party, is when we see hunger defect from the ordinary people on the street and join APC. Then that's time we will be concerned. Whoever
information, there are willing hunger who are willing, there are hungers that are willing to defect. All it's going to take is just, which is the last part of the old defection. So there are poor people who are willing to collect their 2,000, 1,000. I think I picked one from, what do you call it? Was it from Enugu, right? When they were the camping and all of that stuff yesterday or so. So you get to see this guy. So Makinde happened to be one of the G-string governors. Those ones who were the PDP governors who revolted against Atiku as candidate of the party. But as it is, Ogwuanyi, the kerosene governor of Enugu, yeah, he has finally put on the infinity cap and dressed like this. And also Arthur Eze, the Eastern billionaire, he is called. He himself is also like, so talking about the hunger defecting, there are people whose only loyalty is going to be bought with just a 2,000 naira, and that's a lot of money. And they have a lot of that to give out eventually. So in Edo State, while the Okweodoyo was addressing, a group of people in a room, so he made a declaration that if you are going to remain as a commissioner or political appointee in Edo State, from now on, coming to the state executive meetings, you must make sure you put on Tinubu's cap. Slowly but surely, you are going to get to that North Korea. Slowly but surely. And they will call others fascist. Fascism is when this ideology of just one man becomes the ideology of a political party, and then it becomes the policy of the country, which is the state, right? It becomes the policy of the country, slowly but surely. This journey, we go follow all of that to the end of it.
And you are very traditional dress, and you are coming to the expo without this as you come. You are going back. You are going back. No entry. Let me recognize the press. Let me welcome you to this.
No Ashiwaju, no entry. If you're an executive in Edo State and you are going into any meeting, everybody must be seen to put on that cap. 2.5 million votes from Edo State is in the bag for Kanu, right? So we had the rumor of the ailment, the illness of the Minister of Finance, okay? So this evening, the National Bureau of Statistics, which is the NBS, released the latest headlined inflation reduction. So according to them, Nigeria's inflation is now 2% below where it was in 2023. So a progress that they have attributed to Tinubu's great policies. So normally when inflation goes up like that, your money is devalued. When it comes down, you are expected to see improvements in the economy, your purchasing power, your money in your pocket, all that, right? So you expected to see that. But according to them, like they have told you since it was officially at 33 or 34%, yeah? So, and it's down now to 18%. And a lot of you are still complaining and lamenting because, yeah, it is not kind of like effective. You are supposed to see it. You know what I mean now? There was a time in this country when that inflation went up in here, not as much as 10%, oh no. Inflation in the UK. And you went to the shop there to buy something. And then you see a pack of apples, 6 apples, right? In a pack like that. And then it is £3 or £3.50. And you're like, no, these are not exotic apples. This used to be £1.79 or £1.80. Why is it £3.50 or £3.29? So inflation, no. When was the last time you got it for that price? So I still got it for like last year. Say, I know inflation has affected it too. Here you get. So then you go back again and it's like they are not doing promo. Like it is now £2.50. Not that it's going to go back to £1.79. I'm not saying that. Some did go back, by the way, or some do go back. However, when it goes to £3.50 and it comes down to £2.50, all right, you can easily attribute that to, oh, the inflation has come down, so things are beginning to, but there is still inflation. What that means is that the value of your currency, the value of money, your purchasing power, the money in your pocket, what can it get you from the shelf? So if your inflation in the country breaks, kind of reduces, it should be, in fact, now you go on and ask yourself, say, oh, more, unfortunately, anyway, if the inflation is back to, listen to this, so if the inflation is back to 18%, as it's currently said, I think I even have, they have this thing on earlier, I think it's this, right? So, if they said food inflation has also reduced, all right? So, now, year on, whatever, don't mind all these things if you don't understand them, okay? But pay attention to this 18.26%, all right? These are like two pictures on your screen and match them together, all right? So what they have there is that if you are back to 18%, when Tinubu came in, the inflation in Nigeria was 20, I think it was 20.1 or something percent, right? So if your inflation has gone down to, for example, this 18%, and it's true, what that means is that, number one, your tariff, electricity tariff, will also come down. Do you understand? Because it's part of the factor it's part of the thing they factored into what made them increase it that way. By the way, I want to believe. So if the inflation is down, by now, you should be receiving text messages or letters or what have you from your providers to say, not like immediately, they will say from January, your electricity bill charges tariff will now be this and that because of this reasons. They will recalculate the whole thing. It should come down. Do you get that now? So food, services, your phone calls, all those things should be affected too. There should be reductions all over the place, but maybe not right away, but like over time. So I don't think you've actually seen that where you get to the shop and the bag of rice is now like regular. The bag of rice is now 50,000 naira. But you don't have that. Oh, the bag of rice is 60,000 naira. You don't have that. But again, we can keep following that. So the guy behind supposed the shitty economy, Tinubu is Wale Idun. So they said he was unwell. In fact, there was this headline that said that he's been flown abroad, like he was rushed abroad. He was supposed to lead the Nigerian delegation to a particular summit abroad, economic summit or something, right? And they had to make Cardoso lead them, while Wale didn't want to go and take care of himself. Until when Dare Ogbonulojo Sunday, an advisor to Tinubu, right, said he's also a former minister of sport, by the way, so he's now an advisor to Tinubu. So he went on Twitter and he said, yeah, I just finished a phone call with Minister Wale Edun, and we had Amala together. I was like, how? Okay, go on. So he's very fine, ill and hearty, and he will soon get back to work. Okay. But how did you have an Amala with him on the phone? That you just finished bowls of Amala. Like, anyway. So the next thing that followed was that because they wanted to deny that he's at home, he's not anywhere. So 24 hours later, they come back and said, oh yeah, well, he's been taken to abroad. He's been taken to London. Now, we don't know this undated video when it was actually recorded. I didn't have the time to actually look up the gallery that he went to, an art gallery in London. So their choice, their reason was that they wanted to show to us that proof of life, that Wale Edun is fine. Like if somebody rushed to hospital in London, right, he would have the chance of visiting an art gallery. Anyway, I don't wish him anything bad though, other than wish him what he wishes on you, the rest of us. But this was Wale Edun.
Nice to meet you, sir.
Nice to meet you.
Wonderful. Look at this amazing collection here.
Yes, very much so. I got a few days off rest, but can't stay locked up in the house, so
Yes.
coming to enjoy this beautiful exhibition.
Thank
I
you.
understand it's on just for a few days.
Yes, that's
And,
right. Feast
should-
your eye and your soul.
Thank you very much, exactly. And I'm happy to see Nigerian artists on display,
Yes.
telling their story to the world, and especially our young artists in particular. So it's a real pleasure to be here, and thank you for all that you're doing.
Wonderful. We're also happy that we support Nigerian artists as well in our galleries. So yes,
Where
we
are
do.
your galleries?
We're in Cape Town.
Okay.
Just one gallery in Cape Town. Yes. So, and we're so happy to be your neighbour here.
Yes, we are. We worked
Very-
together. We collaborated together before in the past. So
Yes, that's
this
right.
was
So
this is a very
is
happy
lovely.
coincidence.
Isn't it just? We were so happy to see each other.
It continues to be a time for African art, time for Africa.
Yes.
So,
It's time to show the world our
Obviously,
incredible
obviously.
sources of
and
talent.
I think the world is interested more and more.
They had to prove to us that he's fine. Here you get. I came to London to come and rest and for a few days. So my people now said that your gallery is just around the corner, and I should come around to come. Maybe not like that, but you know what I mean. Like he's like out of breath almost every second of every word, holding it in, trying to talk like, you know what, so why not take a rest in Lagos? Why not take a rest somewhere relaxing in Abuja? Why not take a rest somewhere, in Borno, the peaceful Borno? It's not really like hustling and buzzing like the cities, right? If you want somewhere quiet, why not take a rest in Akwa Ibom or, in this safe Nigeria? Why London? London is busy. London is busy with like the traffic, the noise, the cars, the bikes, God, man. You're not there to rest. You're there for medical, but you can actually have that same medical treatment there in Nigeria. Their own excuse is that, their doctors is abroad. So that's why they always have to come abroad. I shall no one hear story say anybody die. I go come they gaslight me, say make I show empathy. Let us respect the dead. Is that any problem here? Because of the millet, because now all of us could die. People get sick. Nobody, we are all mortals. You are going to get sick. You are going to get well. You're going to get sick again. You will get well. Sometimes you get sick again. You will not get well fully. and you get fall sick again, and then you are not like getting well anymore. And then in that process, you will come be like, say, or more. That's a type don't reach you. And it doesn't have anything to do with age. So why are they always obsessed with the state of their health going into public service? You're going to die. I'm going to die. Everybody's going to die. So why is that something that they now make much like, because they want to die and still be respected, that they die abroad. And you should feel sorry for them, even though if you are lucky, you die in one of these poorly equipped hospitals in the hands of some of these ill-paid, poorly paid medical staff, right? A place where, the death is not going to come like soothing and palming and they would die with a misuse, massaging their hands, massaging their legs, cleaning them up in a very serene, beautiful, comfy place with your money. So when they fail to do what is right, when they open the floodgates of thieves to access the public fund, which they themselves are part of, right? And then they die in London, die in India. They want you to feel empathy. Don't mock the dead. Let us all say, I'm a problem, man. That's a money problem there, because you can't actually control how people will react then. He could have his medical checkup in Nigeria. People are actually building hospitals in Nigeria, private hospitals, like standard, the same one that these guys are traveling abroad for. But they just don't trust that system. They don't believe in that country. They would never believe in Nigeria until something happens that will probably make them do. And I don't think there will be anything that will make them believe in Nigeria. There is no medical care. I discovered that myself. Maybe not in large scale. Sure, you get. There is no medical care. There is no specialist. There is no, medical field, wherever it is, that these guys are accessing abroad. That is not in Nigeria. And they also know themselves. Because why? Most of those things, they will say they are in collaboration with their foreign partners, but they are in Nigeria. Sure, you get. But these folks won't use it because it's not going to be their money. Even if they use that of Nigeria as well, replicate it in Nigeria. Right? I don't know why that is so difficult, but no, sorry. I think I do. I know why it is so difficult. You can't create something from nothing. If the supposed resources, money, meant to cater for all of these infrastructures are stolen from source, before they are even allocated, the money are already stolen. So when you see them allocate money in their budget, it's just so that everybody knows which money is. Do you get what I mean? If you are a senator who belongs to the Senate Committee on Housing, when they put the budget of housing in place, you know that is where you are going to go and steal your own. Because you are part of those who padded the budget to put the budget in. So if they put you as a House of Representative Committee on military, you get to know that when they put trillions in the military budget, that's where you are going to go to go and steal yours. So at the end of the day, the money is stolen from source. The one distributed is also stolen before they get to where they are supposed to be used, right? So at the end of the day, nobody gets anything. And if you manage to get something, it's just going to be the fraction of what you truly deserve if the resources have not been tampered with by these rogues. There are these suckers, and there are so many. That's the bubble. They are all living in the bubble right now. There is so much money. Tinubu has made them so much money. Bubble. Therefore, they are becoming very much greedier and greedier and greedier. And in the process as well, they have now grown, is it called apathetic or something? When they don't have empathy anymore. They have become so distant to reality. And that's why every little thing triggers them, threatens them, because they always believe that if these things stops going this way, they hate to go back to who they truly are. So therefore, they put the whole pressure on you. So if they see anything that is likely going to trigger you to alter that, you are considered as enemies, not as an opposition. You get that now? So they have become so greedier and greedier. So by the time everybody will realize that they are living in that bubble, there's actually no real money that they are spending other than just the public fund that they are looting. At that point, boom. The fallout is what some of us are also waiting for. There are many things that will lead to that fallout. But here is some of them. So when they die abroad, maybe unlike the Kenyans, right? There's the former Prime Minister of Kenya, Raila Odinga, who died in India yesterday. He's been in their politics for a while. Raila Odinga. He's a very popular guy, by the way. An old man. He died at the age of 80. And he's known to always have been visiting India and few other places for his medical care. That he will leave Kenya, travel to these countries, get his medical care, and then return back to the country to the rousing welcome party from his supporters. So when he died, it's kind of a different thing because in Kenya, they are almost as divided. The policies of division that has taken over Nigeria is very much prevalent in Kenya too. And it is believed to some extent that the reasons why Kenya has not fallen into political crisis, a very big one, is because of his influence. And now his demise could create a big vacuum that could throw the country into a turmoil. There's so many permutations, by the way. If you have been following the development in Kenya, their president, Ruto, announced the passing of Odinga in the Kenya, in Indian hospital. Watch this.
Fellow citizens, it is with deep sorrow that I inform the nation of the passing on of the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, our former Prime Minister, Kenya's foremost statesman, and one of Africa's greatest sons. Kenya, Africa and the world mourn the passing on of a giant of democracy, a fearless freedom fighter, and a tireless warrior of good governance. Raila Amolo Odinga's name will forever be etched in the story of our republic, a story of struggle, sacrifice, courage, rule of law, hope, and of our pursuit for excellence. For decades, Raila dedicated his life to the pursuit of justice, equity, and freedom. He endured detention and persecution so that this nation might know and enjoy democracy. He championed reforms that gave birth to the rights and freedoms we hold dear today. His voice spoke for the oppressed. His conviction inspired generations, and his vision shaped the course of our history. Raila Amolo Odinga is truly a once-in-a-generation leader, a man whose ideals transcended politics and whose legacy will shape the destiny of Kenya for generations to come. A giant who towered for decades over our democratic landscape. He was a colossus of Kenya's modern politics, an indomitable warrior in our struggle for freedom and prosperity, and a statesman of boundless selflessness. In his passing, we have lost a patriot of uncommon courage, a Pan-Africanist, a unifier who sought peace and unity above power and self-gain, an unceasing servant of the people who gave his all to the promise of a better Kenya. On behalf of a grateful nation, I extend my deepest condolences to Mama Ida, his children, Rosemary, Raila Jr., and Winnie, the entire Odinga family, led by my brother, Oburu Oginga. to the leadership and members of Orange Democratic Movement, and to all Kenyans who share in this immense and immeasurable loss. In honor of the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga's extraordinary contribution to our nation, I have declared a 7-day period of national mourning, during which the national flag shall fly at half-mast across the Republic of Kenya and in all our missions abroad. As a mark of respect, I have postponed all my public engagements for the coming days, and I ask all other public servants and leaders to do the same so that we can join the nation in this period of mourning and deep reflection. Our former Prime Minister, Raila Amolo Odinga, shall be accorded.
No. So he will be given a state burial, you know. So Kenya couldn't treat him like other African leaders, you know, who have had the shot at the leadership. He's called the Atiku of Kenya. He's always running in every election. He's always like, you get, and is that formidable? So, and I believe that is part of what triggered the reactions of his death in Kenya, when from all over the country, the major cities, towns, and all that witnessed the surge of, I don't know if we can call them protesters, because they are all kind of mixed, right? So there are others who are marching, and it is believed that they are marching in his honor after hearing about his death. Then in the process, there are others who are marching who became violent, started throwing stones, and they were calling Ruto must go, Ruto must go. But in it all, right, I've got a few clips matched together from the reactions from Kenya. So if you are still here with us, please take a moment, okay, and like the broadcast if you haven't already, right? So let's go to their streets in Kenya after the announcement of the passing of on of their former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, the age of 80. To tell you, sorry. That first part of the clip is believed, unconfirmed though, right? Is believed to be the last kind of like a hospital visit. Is undated. So it's currently being, you know, here as the last moments before his death, when he was taking a walk, you know, by the hospital's corridor. And there are others who said that, no, it's not a recent one. Others were like, no, that's not him. But because it's part of what, it's because the video is part of the conversation around his death. So I make it the first part, all right? And everything gets that followed, including the entourage of Ruto himself, when he was rushing back to the government house, believed to be when he heard the news, I think, before that broadcast, right? All reactions in this 5 minutes clip. Please watch.
hawana wamona wanakuibia vizuri. Guys, see how they
arĩa maima thĩinĩ.
So that's from Kenya. And I think it is very much ongoing, right? Those who are his supporters, who are like, sad that he's gone. And then others who believe that, who are celebrating that he's gone. Because to them is the last stumbling block before they will break the barrier of the establishment in Kenya, especially the Gen Z. So it's kind of like mixed, observing from far, so far. All right. But yeah, that is in Kenya. In Nigeria, where we're going to stop quickly, is going to be River State, where a CCTV camera captured the moment, very horrific moment. I don't know if I should even show you, right? But you are advised about it, okay? Where a man was robbed of his car. and it was captured on camera. So I'm helping them to raise awareness just in case, if you by any chance recognize any of the assailants, right? Now watch this.
And give me the for the back.
So what? Why the camera? Man, where that camera will go? When this guy there? When this guy there? I go see camera will go pass like this. Call you back.
And you know that car since see the camera.
We don't pass you. I didn't enter immediately close door. Now then come back again. See, come back.
So where I go picture the plate number of this car.
The plate picture.
Well, they go waste time here. They waste time,
Even if I can do it.
You see the way they look the guy. Me have seen a play, I seen a SARS people now. See now. You see the guy who come carry the music. Me have seen a SARS now. I make a joke. I say, what's be this now?
Their face show.
Their face show. They don't wear anything now.
We'll come carry fire for later tomorrow.
We'll carry fire for later. We'll take them and you peace to now. You peace to the second guy who deal with OG now. Now the two of them now come in now.
So that happened somewhere called Alaka here in Port Harcourt. So to those of you who know Port Harcourt very well, so some will say, that's not new. You know, in Port Harcourt you have to be smart. In this place you need to be. Why do you need to be smart with your own property? Like carjacking is a serious thing, right? Fair enough, they were not armed. Okay, they were not sort of like injured or so, but it is also the reflection of a failed security sort of like a system. If people could be that confident enough to go and I carjack without covering their faces and the rest of that, so calm enough that they did all of that just within a minute. And they went. You know, so that happened. So be careful out there, as they would normally advise you, you know. Be careful. Because I remember one time, right? Because when I go out, right, I still do, by the way. So I will put on my camera, go live on Facebook, okay? So that I could just show people around without saying anything. So there was one night I was coming back from the office. So I was live. And then after leaving the motorway and all that, so I got into the streets, you know, and I bet somebody who was just watching started observing. And at the point, that person commented and asked that, then these people left their cars on the road. Like, they are not even afraid that people will steal their mirrors or even break their car and steal their car stereo and all of that. I was like, I understand what you're saying, right? People break into people's cars here. So that's why you are mostly advised, number one, don't leave valuables in your car, because anyone who is a junkie or anything could break into your car thinking something valuable that they could just take and, you know, sell on. Then we have a group of Europeans, even like British as well, who are like carjacking ring. But this is a country where you have the record of many of those rings that they've been like cracked and arrested. So it's not you have to be sophisticated. You must belong to a gang that is like carjacking, you know, see somebody's car where it's parked and steal it and put it on the, maybe on the container or something. So Romania or anywhere. Here you get. So you can't just be like a petty thief that's just comes to the UK and then you see all these parked cars on the streets and you started stealing the mirrors, who are you going to sell them to? Or you start removing the car stereo and all of that stuff. There's a chance you'll be caught. Not just by the street cameras, right? Security cameras. People could have CCTV in their homes. So if you do that maybe successfully for a week, you are not going to do it successfully for a month. Like if you become so like, hey, see all these cars, hey, this is now markets now, if I come out. So somebody who felt like, is it that that place is that safe? Well, it is moderately safe. And if you are from Nigeria, well, you agree with me that no, Baba, it is not moderately. It is better than safe. The fact that you could walk out anytime, any day, anytime. When I say anytime, anytime, and you'll not be harassed by those who are supposed to be protecting you, like the police. That will not even dress like policemen. They will not drive they will not drive normal police vehicles. They will drive all these unmarked cars, dressed like common criminals with guns, and they could waylay you. And there you are, wondering if they are kidnappers, if they are SARS, or if they are armed robbers. So that's Nigeria. That's not normal. Do you get me now? It's not. There are so many things that are pretty much not normal, if you come to think of it, right? But let's leave that and check on Kolu. Kolu is currently in Rome, I bet you know. So he was spotted there today in suit, attending what they call the Akaba meeting on anti-terrorism. You know, he went to Rome 2 days ago. So I think today was the time to go and talk about terrorism, insecurity in Nigeria. For somebody we just released hardened criminals, drug dealers, kidnappers, murderers in the state pardon, right? Here, Kolu. What did you notice? Even Kolu feels safer in Italy. I think it feels safer outside Nigeria. You know, in Nigeria is when you're going to see Kolu with the military, the police, the DSS, the NIA, the DIA, the EFCC, the ICPC, the NJC, the governors, the ministers, their PAs, and you're going to get like about 200 vehicles, and they will shot everywhere because it doesn't feel safe in the country that is their leader. Have you ever imagined why? Like, before they become your president, right? They are usually okay around you. I don't know, but they feel safer outside Nigeria. They don't need more than maybe 3-4 cars. And they can be in traffic with everyone. Yeah, except on special occasion, like if that country is hosting, like the world leaders, like they are holding something that a lot of countries will come in and their leaders, so they will begin to put, plan in place, rules that will be shot. But for somebody like Kolu, it's very okay with 4 cars, and then 2 dispatch riders. Because it doesn't feel like anybody's going to want to do him anything in Europe or America or anywhere. The irony of leadership, if you ask me. I'll leave it at that. So thank you very much for your time. I intend to have a very short one tonight. And yeah, so far you are there with me from the start. Please don't leave without liking the broadcast, okay? If you have forgotten, that's your reminder. And yeah, there is a bit of an update I should add. I could probably still work on that tomorrow. It is the countdown to the mass protest for the release of Mazi, Kanu, something that is already out there. So there is a letter sent in by Adolfo Swabara in order to say that he's not currently in the country, but he would be supporting them, like, mind in a way. He said, unfortunately, I'm out of the country and I will not be able to join you physically on that day. However, please know that I am with you in spirit and in full support of every peaceful effort aimed at securing justice and national reconciliation. I wish you and all participants a peaceful and successful outing. With warm regards, Adolphus Wabara. October 20 for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is currently it's like a ship that has sailed, right?
The brethren,
good morning to you. Good afternoon to you. And good evening to you from wherever you are joining us. It is Maiyegun live. After reading the caption of the broadcast, take your time and read the description of the broadcast as well. Then like it, share it to invite your friends, your not so friendly friends, and your frenemies. Them. Tell them that Maiyegun is live and they can join us. So I don't know how I expect us to react to this news. As much as we've already anticipated that their effort in using the delay tactics in order to continue to illegally keep Nnamdi Kanu in their detention, why they continue to run every other kind of propaganda to justify why they are keeping him, except in their courts, where they have every right to actually prove it. So the no cases submission was dismissed on the argument that he had a case, he has a case to answer. Then the issue of his health, in which has become pretty much like a priority of the entire thing, by the way, right? Nnamdi Kanu has been, medically checked and has been recommended for proper hospital, sort of like treatment, so to say. So, and this argument is what the DSS is saying that no, it's fine with us. Somebody who has been medically checked to be having problem with his heart, as well as I don't know if I should be saying this public, but it's already public anyway, right? So where it's been said that he's had blood in his urine, something that the DSS won't let him go to the hospital for. So the retrial of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the guy I will now refer to as Injustice Omotosho, who initially showed a bit of empathy when he heard the story of how they, extracted the information or confession from Nnamdi Kanu in one of their statements. And he said every sort of statement they took from Nnamdi Kanu is no longer admissible because they were taken under duress. So it was given the sign of, okay, maybe this is going to be fair again. Right, so he now told the NMA, Nigerian Medical Association, to go ahead and do their own independent check on Nnamdi Kanu. So they were supposed to submit their report last week until the court day when they said, oh yeah, they forgot to file the report to the court, so you have to come back next week again. So going back there this week, has now come to light that the NMA never even met with Nnamdi Kanu. They had meetings at the DSS, which was in September. And from the conversation they had with the DSS, right, they wrote their report on that, which means prior to when the court said they were going to, they should go and do a check on Nnamdi Kanu to ascertain if indeed he should be admitted into the hospital for proper medical check, right? So prior to that, these guys have already met with the DSS, so which means they are in on it anyway. Now, when the court now said, no, go back and, go and get your own independent report, check him and all that. So if you want to do a medical check for somebody, so that you take him to a proper medical center where you are going to have his urine, his blood, take things from him to actually do a proper check. They did not meet with Nnamdi Kanu. So when they arrived in court today, when they submitted their supposed reports of their check on Nnamdi Kanu, they said Nnamdi Kanu is fit for trial. That no matter what is wrong with him, right, DSS can always take care of him. That they have the facility to take care of him. The same DSSO, right? So we're going to start from the court, then to his lawyers, and then to other things they also developed. Even today, where we all marched to the October 20, 2025, the march to Aso Rock. So let's start with this. When Mazi arrived in court, as usual.
How are you? Good to see you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. How are you?
Good to see you. What's the matter, Maka? On your guns, I got
Yes, all the Amiputan parts, Ihams and the outreach and the rising sun and ambassadors, Ambassador Onyego, Mr. Kaba, all the Amiputan, no one like everyone must support it.
The last part of the video was where he was conversing with his own legal team. That was when they said, oh no, he needs to go and put up his defense. All right, and he's got 7 days between 23rd of October and 30th of October to put up a defense after the prosecution team have concluded their own case. But there's something about the last part of the video as well. You saw him there having a chat with them. You see, when people tell you that the whole thing is a charade, Your emotion may be running riot, but for a moment, like a dead, useless clock, if you are somebody who is against its release, by the way, right? So nobody is saying that if anyone is accused of anything, no matter how frivolous it is, right, that they could not be taken to court. What we are saying is that the behind the scene effort of those who are keeping Nnamdi Kanu in prison to continue to undermine the judicial process, the tenets of fair trial. Did you know that Nnamdi Kanu can't have a chat with his own legal team in detention of DSS? They can't go to him and then discuss his case with him, like normal, right? And then be able to jot things down. Just okay, we'll do this then. All right, we'll do that. All right. Please make sure you get this out. This is, even Nnamdi Kanu, as smart as he is himself, he has become practically a lawyer. You've seen him argue with the judge in the courtroom, right? When they were trying to kind of model this whole thing or play this, their delay tactics and keep hankies, right? In DSS custody, Nnamdi Kanu is not allowed to have independent, unfettered chat with his own legal team. Do you want to know the most, well, that's not even the most horrible yet, yeah? Whenever he's allowed in a room with his legal team that they want to have a chat about their case, they will put on their camera with the microphone on to hear every goddamn thing they are talking. Then, if for any reason the lawyer jots anything down, once they leave the room, they would have to submit everything. In fact, they can't even jot anything down. Where are you going to get that from? Papers and pen. You're going to smuggle that in? How? So how is that fear? Like you are telling people, this person has committed this crime, that crime. You kidnapped him, committed international crime doing that. Fine, he's in your custody. It won't take you 10 years to finally find reasons to actually convict him. You couldn't convict him. You won't allow him to have a fair conversation with, independent conversation with his own legal team. So he uses the opportunities in court, right? Like that part of the video to tell them that, you know what, this is what, okay. Is that what you're going to do then? Okay. All right, go ahead. Yeah. No, don't do that one. All right. What about, okay, yeah, all right. You know what I mean? Like they could have a quick chat, 5 minutes chat. That's so crucial. That's how horrible the state persecution is. You want him jailed? Okay, good. Do it fairly. He's committed a crime. Bring your witnesses, don't mask them. You accuse me of something, you should bring my accuser. Let me confront my accuser, shouldn't I? Especially where you said I committed a crime and I am with you in that same custody. But we all know why, though. After the, the short, very quick court session of denying the, the request to have him attend a proper, to be tended to by a proper hospital, right? His lawyers addressed the press. And their worry is similar to everyone who has any fiber of justice, like a vein, something inside you there that will pinch you when you feel an injustice being meted at somebody like this one. Now listen, his lawyers.
To an external medical center.
Well, yes, that's quite a surprising ruling today. We were served all of a sudden, as a matter of surprise, an ambush with the medical report, which the court ordered the Nigerian Medical Association to submit since 26th September. So that medical report that we were served is dated 10th October. And it was today that we were served in open court with it. So, well, you can say that the defense had no ample opportunity to react to it. It was more of an ambush. But nonetheless, the court had ordered further that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu be examined by the Nigerian Medical Association. That examination was never carried out, and the order was entered on 26th September and restated on 8th October. That part of the order was disobeyed. They never examined him. So the report is based on some informal meeting they held Mazi Nnamdi Kanu as far back as 18th September at the DSS headquarters in Abuja. They were invited to do that by the DSS. The court and the DSS are not the same. So what we have in court, or what we were served in court today, quite frankly, we cannot be sure where it emanated from. Did it emanate from assumption, or did it emanate from the examination carried out on 18th September before the court entered an order on 26th September? So we were quite surprised, flummoxed, and we felt a bit disadvantaged, but the proceedings had to continue at pace as the court wanted it. So at the end of the day, the court made a conclusion and a ruling that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu must enter his defense from the 24th of October and conclude his defense by the 30th of October. So basically, it's a 6-day trial window that we are looking at there.
So how fit is the defense now? How fit is the defense counsel, defense team particularly, entering the defense now? How ready are you guys?
Well, you see, lawyers are trained to be ready for any eventuality. But the justice of the matter is another case altogether. I choose not to comment on that.
So wait, we have to comment. Sorry, sir. I'm one of the members of the legal team. This is a public document brought in by the medical council through the prosecution. So they serve us this thing today. And if you watch there, in this particular medical report, you can see all the ailments they say that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is suffering from. And surprisingly, somebody that has all these particular issues, you now, in the last paragraph, to say that from your own distance, you can stand trial. Somebody that is passing through all these ailments. Having said that, too, go to make a consequential order. Say, please, go and examine him and report back to me. They never examine Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, only for them to come up with this report. Nigerian Medical Council, they should be very careful, because this is a professional body and you are expected to act professionally. Yes. In your report, you are expected, I'm not a medical doctor, but I'm a practicing lawyer. You are expected to show that on this particular day, we obtained his specimen. We carried out this lab, and the lab showed this. We are talking about somebody's life, for goodness sake. You cannot just enter into your office room and you open your system and start writing trash. And you want court to rely on it. And surprisingly, we are expected to take a date for us to go. And because when the court gave us an opportunity to respond, we are ought to have taken a date to confer from our clients. It was when Nnamdi Kanu said, what? We are the people that even gave Nnamdi Kanu this thing. When the court was about to sit, we are talking about somebody's life. Of course, as a matter of this thing, the Igbos are on trial. This is a war against the Igbos. Of course, you are here when the president ordered the police and the army to go and negotiate and have a discussion with the terrorists and the non-bandits in this town. With their arms. And somebody that is exercising his rights as given to him by the constitution, both local and international legislations, and you say that he should enter trial. Trial for what? What is it? What are you trying for? Do you have even jurisdiction? Does the court have jurisdiction to entertain this particular matter? Somebody that has been discharged by court of appeal. So we don't want to go into that. This is a trial again. These Igbos are on trial. This is a persecution, not a prosecution. And I stand by it. And I'm calling the entire Nigerians. It's the Igbos and the Nnamdi Kanu today. It can be another person tomorrow, and we should stand against it. That's why we are protesting. Why should we be treating a human being like this? Simply because the offense Nnamdi Kanu committed is because he's an Igbo man. Can you do it somebody from the north? Can you do it somebody from the west? You cannot. People have been agitating. Son Boy has been going around agitating for Republic of Oduduwa. Have you arrested him? The answer is no. Because Nnamdi Kanu is an Igbo, and he said that nobody can speak with him for him. And we are saying no to that. We can never be intimidated. Nobody is more Nigerian than anybody. Nobody is a second-class citizen in this country, and we are going to fight it. I'm begging judiciary not allow yourself to be used. They know what they are doing. Are you telling me that it was on the 13th? Court gave you 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, you now produce this document on the 13th, and you kept it with you.
You do not allow us to go and see our client with it, only for you to serve us 5 minutes before court is sitting, and you ask us to respond. Is this injustice or injustice, for goodness sake? We should call evil. And when you call evil, it will stop existing. That is our submission.
When there was no evaluation,
it is that bad. And that is what puts question mark on let us allow the judicial process to take its course. There are people who are sabotaging, compromising the judicial process taking its course. And you will be very much of a liar if you deny that. You know, NMA should be a professional body. But they are still associated with government, of course. They are supposed to be professional bodies. You do your own thing the way it should be done, but no, they will have to be teleguided because it is Nnamdi Kanu. I don't know why that name strikes fears into the minds of a lot of people who are very powerful. You are powerful already. You feel powerful already. But if at the mention of Nnamdi Kanu's name, they would have to like, do yoga, breathe in, out, before they react. Since it strikes fears into their heart, and I don't understand why. Because the only explanation you can give to all of this is that there are some people who are so afraid, so scared, and they don't mind, they don't care that they are actually making mockery of the judiciary in the face of the world. They don't care. That's not power. That is cowardice. Yeah. Cowardice. Sorry, fear wrapped in cowardice. You have the judiciary. You have all of these people. You could even manufacture your fake evidence. Bring them to your court and allow the court to do its job. The job of the court is to examine all evidences, witnesses, and everybody, and then reach a conclusion independently. But no, that's not what is happening. So how then do you think people can sit back and say, okay, let us allow the judicial process to take its course. There's no point in protesting. There's no point in this. Let's allow the court to. Are you kidding me? Like, are you pretending? Which court is allowed to? Are they being allowed to do their work right now? 10 years. 10 years of locking Nnamdi Kanu in and out of their prison. Changing their different charges of why they are holding him. They are holding him for treason. They are holding him for terrorism. They are holding him for incitement. They actually continue to change their charges while they keep holding him. And the court is allowing it. Is that normal to you? But to some people it is not. And October 20 is sacrosanct. Like Sowore, they are intensifying their effort in the mobilization. It's going to be like a showdown. And if you count the days right now, it means we only have just 4 days. A lot will happen before then. But so far, they are not waiting on any court anymore. Not a dependent court. They are not independent. And you know that. Yeah? Sowore, back on the street. As it is believed that to force the hand of the tyrant, you have to become what the Yoruba called alagidi unloga alagbara. Somebody way to say get power, and somebody way they stubborn. Here you get, at some point, even alagbara will say, you know what? Just you know what I mean? We're going to get to that part. Here.
We have been on this now for
the last 2 weeks. And that was the time that the God said all of us must become wise. And at the time for justice is now. When it started, if for those of you who have been following, I started by contacting Southeastern leaders. I called them one by one. Some of them I have their phone numbers. Say it's time for us to bring Nnamdi Kanu. It is the time to bring Nnamdi Kanu home from unjust detention. Some of them say they will call me back. Till today they have not called me back. But when the time for anything is right, you don't need a big man. The big man is about to be reduced to nobody now. Because the real big man and the biggest fish is the person we are trying to bring home, which is Nnamdi Kanu. And some of you must have been told, you know, there's a lot of stories that are funding bloggers that I'm doing this for politics. I am not looking for votes. I have said it to people, if I'm looking for votes, I will go and look for money and give to INEC. They will give me election votes, I will win up. The person will be president now, you know, come campaign to you. You know, be president. Some will say, it's Yoruba, is trying to lead this thing. I am not Onye Yoruba, I'm Onye Justice. And as an Onye Justice, the people I hate most in my life are the people Igbos call Onye Zuzu. Yes, all these charlatans, when they give opinion now, say Nnamdi Kanu must go through the court system. Let him be tried first. We cannot talk about the case that is in court. Ask the Onye Zuzus. When they were charged for corruption, did they wait for the court to resolve their problem? I don't want to mention their name, you know them. Ask the Onye Zuzus, what is Nnamdi Kanu's offense? They cannot tell you. I am not a lawyer, but I move around with lawyers a lot. And because I'm a repeat offender, you know, I offend them every week. So they charge me every week. Something we know as a principle of law is that the person that has been tried, not found guilty, the charge and acquitted cannot be tried again. That principle is known as double jeopardy. The Court of Appeal in this country made a declaration that because kidnappers were the ones who brought Nnamdi Kanu back to Nigeria from Kenya, you cannot try him for the offense they claim to have committed. They now went to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court made another declaration that Nnamdi Kanu did not jump bail. That it was the Nigerian army that went to try to kill him, and he has a right to run away because of the criminals who tried to kill him. Sickness, now wait till you take your hand, carry, now bring the sickness. Some sickness now to chop too much. Some sickness come from drinking too much alcohol, like the one in Abuja. We go mention my name the other day. He never recover. Some sickness then comes from stealing other people's lands. Some sickness comes from demolishing people's shop where they take chop. You can never be well if you do evil against your fellow human beings for so long as they are doing it. You don't need to go to church to know that. You don't need to go to mosque to know that. That one is a principle of natural justice. So we are here to invite you on Monday. And my question that I've been asking, because this is our 8th market since yesterday, I have been asking everybody that we met, that are you saying there are no up to 1 million people in this Abuja? Are you saying there are no up to 1 million people in this Abuja that can step out for a just cause? And if we are 1 million, you know all the security agencies in Nigeria that are not up to 1 million? Yes. The Nigeria police is 350,000. That is the number that they are paying salary. The real ones may still they alive now around 210,000. But you know, say police get the highest number of those workers for this country. The Nigerian Army is about 150,000. DSS is 10,000. Nigerian Navy is 15,000. If you add MC Oluomo and all their people, maybe it's 500,000. We are 1 million. If 1 million people they go, nobody feel wait. And that is why I came here to address you today. This has nothing to do with tribe. It has nothing to do with ethnicity. It has nothing to do with religion. I have said it and I will keep saying it. The only religion that I know is justice. The only ethnicity I belong to is the ethnicity of justice. The only thing that I tell people sometimes, where I don't know why there's something in my body where make me to say I be Igbo person, because anytime I hear Ogene music, I lose my mind. Yes. So, but on a serious note, please let's meet on Monday and march on Aso Rock. We are converging at 7 a.m. in the morning. Unity Fountain. But if they play any game there, we'll go pass through another place. So be prepared for that day. Carry water, carry some granite, put for pockets. Carry your friend with you. If you no get friends, carry your enemy. Drag them, say for the first time, let's go and do justice to this country. Bring everybody with you and let's make this happen. It's not going to be a peaceful protest. And we have informed them that it's going to be peaceful. And we have heard that they are planning counter protest as well. But I tell you, it's psychological engineering. Because if the real people are moving, all those ones, all the Oyezuzus, we won't do their this. When they say, now them will even come join us. And that day, now them will come sweep the floor after we finish the matter. But the most important thing is that we are bringing Nnamdi Kanu home on Monday.
He's not wrong. The court, an appeal court, freed Nnamdi Kanu in 2022 that he has no case to answer. It took Nigeria 8 days. They didn't appeal it. They said they wanted the Supreme Court to interpret that judgment. So their Supreme Court now ruled and said, well, what happened is that they didn't jump any bail. So which means his bail was supposed to be reinstated. It shouldn't be in anybody's detention, not Abuja Hospital, not Abuja Prison, not DSS detention. It should be in his house. If they have to even like follow a tiny bit of their own court, Supreme Court, Nnamdi Kanu won't be in anybody's detention. So they picked what the Supreme Court said that, but if they say he has a case to answer now, then they should go and retry the case. So they picked on retrying the case. They dropped everything else. And you think that's justice? That's normal? It's not normal. And that is why there are people who feels like that. They say, he's waiting for Sowore there. Okay. If you see, because we know your type, right? If you see anybody who is of Igbo extraction doing it, you will also change the narrative again. It will be, what is wrong with these Igbo people? They know they learn. They want to cause another war. Because of this, why can't they just do their protest in their region? Why are they coming to Abuja? You will change it. So this is like a super tackle. So we want to see how they are going to play it. It has become so difficult for Tinubu, the Ronukus, and the rest of them to spin it. Even for some of you obedient, it has been so difficult to spin it because you, inside so many of you, it's the right thing to do. But now the person where they do you know, like. You get me now? And that's most of the problems that causes all this disunity. You get what I mean? It is that person that is doing it. Me, I understand, Maiyegun, but it's just that I don't trust Sowore. Baba, who need your trust? People need your presence, action. What is the cost of action? Injustice to Nnamdi Kanu has to end. The whole mago needs to end. And some people need to stand up. At least push. It's been there for like too long. If you care about that, you won't care about the person who is organizing it or trying to kind of like tarnish him, tear him apart, and do all you have been doing online. But guess what? It seems to be really gaining momentum to the point that the NANs have got their own press conference to say we are distancing ourselves from Sowore's protest. Alaye, you were not invited in the first place. Nans and Sheyi Tinubu, it's just like, you get? So why would anybody want to invite Nans, especially this Nans? Nans is like National Association of Nigerian Students. I'm going to get to that part. So just so you know, all right, that those who are demanding for his release are those who have been following the whole thing for so long that they can tell this is absolute nonsense. Because in that same country, you are watching your national security advisor funding terrorists in a way to control the terrorism, to be in charge. Many people have come out to say that. Nobody has been arrested for it, because it's true. Rather, they started attacking the personalities that said it, right? So you are seeing terrorists who are saying they are doing peace meeting with those weapons, war weapons, RPG. And you still think you have the moral kind of like a justification to say Nnamdi Kanu should rot in that prison. Eh? Nah, could make sense.
Holy, 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 Nnamdi Kanu is another Savior. Holy, 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 Nnamdi Kanu is another Savior. Holy, 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 holy.
Nnamdi Kanu now. Bring Nnamdi Kanu now. Our game here today is very simple. We just came to see you to tell you that on Monday we want to bring Nnamdi Kanu home, and we are not going to take a no for an answer, because terrorists in this country, they can negotiate with government. Drug dealers in this country can be pardoned by the president. Murderers in this country granted pardon last week. But our brother who has not committed any crime known to law has been languishing in detention back and forth for 10 years. We are saying this market and other markets across the country must close down on Monday. If God is not to close down the market, you must also join us and also rock pillar. We are looking for 1 million people to march to. You cannot tell me that there are no 1 million good people in this Abuja. But the good news is that people are coming from everywhere. Kaduna, Port Harcourt, Lagos, even Osun State, people just contacted us that they are coming. This is not Igbo, Hausa, or Yoruba matter. This is a matter for justice. This country cannot continue to treat some people as second-class citizens. While some can get away with crime, some cannot even commit a crime. Even when they don't commit a crime, they end up detained forever. And you know me, I know them very well. Every week they charge me for something. So I know when I see rubbish charges, I know it. This one is #1 rubbish charge in Nigeria. It shall be well with you. We are inviting you Monday, please. Join us. Free Nnamdi Kanu now. Free Nnamdi Kanu now. Free Nnamdi Kanu now. Free Nnamdi Kanu now. Free Nnamdi Kanu now.
Kanu now. I don't know how that will make anybody feel bad. You are concerned about the insecurity in eastern Nigeria. Could you please take a moment, just a moment, to have a throwback to 2015, 2019, even when they kidnapped him in 2015, 2020, and 2021 when they kidnapped him again from Kenya. Now, prior to that, I need you to take a moment as an Igbo person. I know I may not really be in your shoes. So I do not have changed my screen. So I may not be in your shoes. But take a moment, all right, to reflect, to remind, to kind of remind yourself, there was never any form of hooligancy. I mean, hooligancy. There is no form of a violence, harassment that is linked or associated with any of the IPOB that Nnamdi Kanu was supervising. Not a single one. Not a single report. You will say, oh, prompted the police to take action anywhere in Igbo land until 2021. First, 2020, when the ESN started. Then they kidnapped Nnamdi Kanu, 2021, again. And then surprisingly, they started having unknown gunmen, unknown this. You know how all of that played out, how all of that went. Some of you said, oh, it was because he already created the idea. How come that idea was never implemented when he was even in their detention? There was no disruption, there was no nothing, to the best of my own knowledge. Then they kidnapped him. This time they have now dropped the treasonable felony charges. They dropped that. They now changed it. This is time to change it to terrorism. How could somebody in your detention, if this insecurity breaks out in any part of the country, it is the work of the government to actually what? How could the insecurity break out from a place you have militarized? Before you militarize the eastern part of Nigeria, the common crime you get to see as usual is this armed robbery, the normal crimes. Well, they are not normal crimes, Shabo. They've become normal now compared to what you have now. We've witnessed, the carnage we've witnessed in the last couple of years. So even if you hate him that much because they said you should, or you just needed somebody to blame, while you watch your criminal politicians hobnobbing with these terrorists, they even have a Asari Dokudump on their payroll too, who bragged, recently he bragged of how he's been helping the Igbo governors to hunt down IPOB, ESN. You guess what? They are picking up on innocent people. That even Amnesty International, they have their own report on the atrocities of Nigeria against the people of Eastern Nigeria. They have their own, their own evidence documented. The number of people killed, those who disappeared, the moment they kidnapped Nnamdi Kanu, and then they unleashed their terror on the eastern part of Nigeria, just to build a case to say, oh yeah, we are charging him for terrorism. He's responsible. This guy is responsible. Somebody who has no means of making a phone call. He's got no means of receiving or writing any letter. He's got so much restricted visiting. And they have kept him so much incommunicado. But yet out there, they are blaming him for why insecurity increased. And then he said, listen, those of you who are part of this and those who are using you, you should go and stop all that rubbish. There's a video. He said, stop that rubbish. We cannot be killing the people we say we are fighting for. So you are not doing this in my name. And then he went on to say, hey, if I leave this place, 5 minutes after I leave this place, all the nonsense going on in the eastern part of Nigeria will disappear. And they are saying, no, he's a lie, he's lying. He's no longer in their control. So what exactly do you want? Kill him. So that even in death, you can still blame him for whatever is going on. Oh, it's the cause, it's the reason. While those who deliberately, intentionally put together this madness continue to look at the rest of you like, yeah, it's working. They believed us. They do. There are those who don't, like Sowore and others.
Sowore, what Igbo people cannot do. Sowore, God bless you. And they just say, oh, go and face the trial. Then they finish. They want to force him into a conviction so that we'll be begging for pardon. You cannot, I'm not here to ask for pardon. You cannot jail a person who didn't commit a crime. Yes, sir. And then be asking us to ask for pardon. The people that needs to be arrested, tried, is Boko Haram, bandits, but most importantly, the international kidnappers that went to Kenya to kidnap Nnamdi Kanu. We must know them, we must be tried and jailed. Because they committed an international crime. That is our very simple message to you. Monday, 7 a.m., please. We have met the chairman, and we have asked the chairman to also contact other chairmen that markets should close on Monday.
They won't like that, because this kind of mobilization, right, is not how they usually organize their protest in Nigeria. And that is why it's mostly never really successful. He's received knocks, he's received support and the rest of that. But the thing is that it will hold. Or it will make them make more mistakes. When they kidnapped Nnamdi Kanu for a proper court case, right? In Nnamdi Kanu's defense to show to them that he's got no case to answer. Yeah. They did not extradite Nnamdi Kanu. They abducted him. It is called extraordinary rendition. It is an international crime. It's not different from what Bukwari did to Umaru Diko when they lured him somewhere, drugged him, and then they created him as a special package for the government of Nigeria until somebody raised the alarm that this cargo seems suspicious. And when they opened it up, that was a former minister in Nigeria that ran to London when Bukwari took power, Umaru Diko. That's what they did to Nnamdi Kanu. They sold the false intel to the Kenyan, security. They said Nnamdi Kanu, like they sold the same intel to so many other African countries. Because they are aware somebody they called terrorist in Nigeria is right there traveling all over the world as British, Biafran or Biafran British. Something that gives him, something that if he was actually a terrorist, right? He won't be able to do all of that. But what did Nigeria do? Malamu and co. They sold the false intel. They said if they see Nnamdi Kanu in Kenya, he is there to meet with Al-Shabaab, the Somalian terror group. They call them terrorist state group, who always kind of like, infiltrate some of the Kenyans, border towns, like you experience with Cameroon, Niger, and Chad, as the case of Nigeria. So when Nnamdi Kanu go to Kenya, met the people he went there to see, then there's someone he needed to actually pick up at the airport before driving to the airport to pick his guest who was arriving in Kenya too. He visited their own hospital for a quick checkup, meaning he had nothing to hide from. He was always there in the open until they kidnapped him at their airport, Jomo Kenyatta Airport in Kenya. So initially, the Kenyan authority, right, believed the story. So they started interrogating him. Then they realized that, this one has nothing to do with it. It's just a pure waste of time. Now, then let me go. They kept him there. He said they chained him to the ground like this for a week in Kenya, trying to force information out of him. But they realized that it was a pure waste of time. It's got nothing to do with any terror group. Then let him go. They said, no, there is more to that. Those who requested for his arrest, Nigeria, they are here to take him home. Take him home. What do you mean? That was the last thing Mazi Nnamdi Kanu probably remember until the plane landed in Abuja, where they covered his head with a hood, chained his hands, and they took him before a judge, Bintan Yako, who then gave them the custodian rights to keep him in perpetuity. You can keep him for as long as you want. A year later, an appeal court said what they did was wrong. No, this is absolute trash. The right thing for you to do right now to save face as a country, as a government, put him on a plane. Ask him where he wanted to go to and just let him go. Then go and do it the right way. Nigeria never requested, all the time Nnamdi Kanu was broadcasting, talking, the Nigeria never made a single request for his extradition or reported that he's doing anything illegal to the UK government. Not once. So they were trying to, to see if they could catch him anywhere like a trophy so that they could keep him. That was why when they kidnapped him and got him to Abuja illegally, the Attorney General of the country, Minister of Justice, Malamu, then had to broadcast in Hausa. That was how excited he was. How excited they were. He had to broadcast in Hausa. Wetin concern Hausa people with Nnamdi Kanu from Igbo land? Because he is a trophy. There was never going to be any fair trial. There was never going to be any good justice or anything. It was going to be a charade, a show. And that defeats every purpose. Because in the process, they are releasing terrorists, the real killers, the real murderers. They are walking free, doing their things and all of that. Nobody could touch them. We are talking about them every now and then. As we are seeing them do their fake peace meeting, we are also reporting people that are being killed on the other side. It is like every day, every day. It's a mockery. It is. But Nan said that they won't be part of it. I was like, who invited these people? Did you invite them?
Protest by Sowore and his associates. Call on all parents and guardians to caution their children against being used by selfish politicians. Distinguished members of the press, respected stakeholders in the education sector, fellow Nigerian students, ladies and gentlemen. The leadership of National Association of Nigerian Students has called this press conference to address and clarify misleading, malicious narrative currently circulating on social media platforms. The narrative falsely claimed that NANS is planning to organize or participate in so-called free Nnamdi Kanu protest slated for October 20th. We wish to state categorically and unequivocally that NANS is not and will not be part of any protest organized or influenced by Umahi, Sowore, or any other political motivated group or individual. The entire claim is false, mysterious, and designed to drag the name of our noble association into political controversies that do not align with our mandate as a student body. As the umbrella body representing all Nigerian students, both home and abroad, NANS believes strongly in the role of law, due process, and peaceful engagement. We understand the matter concerning Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is a legal issue currently before a competent court of law, and it would therefore be inappropriate, unlawful, and irresponsible for NANS to take a partisan position or mobilize any form of protest on the matter before the judiciary. Whatever Mr. Sowore and his group are planning or doing is not for their own political interest and has absolutely nothing to do with NANS. We advise him and his co-traveler to stop using the name of NANS to give credibility to their political driving agenda. Our focus as a responsible student organization remains on education, youth development, peace, and national unity, not partisan agitation. We therefore call on parents and guardians across the country to warn their children and warn not to be deceived or lured into joining any protest sponsored by greedy and self-serving politicians who do not mean well for the nation or the student community. This individual exploit the vulnerability and energy of young people for personal gain while abandoning them when crises erupt. We also urge the general public, the media, and the security agency to disregard any publication or message claim that NANS is mobilizing for a protest related to Nnamdi Kanu or any other political motivated cause. Our focus is on constructive engagement, peaceful education, advocacy, and developmental initiatives that will contribute meaningfully to the progress of our education system and the future of Nigeria. In conclusion, NANS remains a united, law-abiding, and patriotic association committed to this peace, progress, and prosperity of Nigeria. We will continue to champion the interests of the students through dialogue.
Nuisance Lele. Nuisance Lele.
Hard now, just for context, the guy that is now parading himself as the NAN's president. Remember his story. The guy that won the NAN's election was abducted by DSS on the order of Tinubu. They beat the hell out of the guy until the guy had to use his social media to apologize to Tinubu. So then came this guy who was his candidate and is now in charge of NANS as it is. So you should expect where their loyalty lies. It is not to the students or to those who are giving them their own crumbs that went due, you know. And they've actually entered Obi as well, because Peter Obi himself believes that Nnamdi Kanu shouldn't have even been arrested at all. Look at me, Maiyegun. I share things, I speak my mind, opinions that get some of you mad, especially the Ronukus, the Ronu Nazis, and the rest of you, right? There are some actually wishes their government to, somebody should deal with me. And what does that mean? I'm not hurting, okay, maybe I'm hurting some of them, right? But with truth, I'm not hurting anybody. I'm just talking about things that affect all of us, every one of us, maybe differently. But there are some of these Ronukus that are like, if they're born, you will come to Nigeria. So if I now go to Nigeria, and then you realize that they've arrested Maiyegun, those who didn't know Maiyegun that much and all that, will begin to say, who be that person, who be that person, and all of that. And then you start seeing the supporters of Maiyegun to say, we no go agree, free Maiyegun. How many of you will even do that for me? We didn't go to the street and say, free Maiyegun now, hashtag free Maiyegun now, free Maiyegun now. They say, who is Maiyegun? They say, that's not his name. His name is Olusola Badero now. I say, but we know him as Maiyegun. I say, okay. Then I'll become somebody that others would now be talking about and say, what did he talk? Go. Oh, he's somebody that he kept abusing elders. He's set abroad. He's trying to incite the people to go and fight government and all of that stuff. So they will charge me for maybe terrorism or something. Me, terrorism. And they will make some of you believe it. Of course, it's Nigeria. You don't know him. There are people who are sponsoring him from Israel. Oh, people who they sponsor him, they are from Saudi Arabia. They will figure out this whole thing and they put them before you to justify my detention. But show what there? What Nnamdi Kanu has been saying, they are truth that comes in a very different delicacies. So sometimes it's very spicy. Sometimes it's mild spicy. Sometimes it's pretty much like eating as a vegetarian, you know, uncooked salad and all that. So it comes in different tastes and forms. So once it tastes somehow in your mouth, all you have to do is to take a look at the message very well and say, okay, what was he talking about exactly? How does that really affect me and all that? And you get the truth. So they said he's a terrorist. He wants to divide Nigeria. Yeah, he wanted to divide Nigeria, but he can't single-handedly do that. He knew that the way these guys are going, their effort will end up, we are going to end there, going our separate ways. You can't continue running a country like this. It's not possible. So they may have their time now, but it's just a matter of time. So what is he saying that is pretty much out of place? Other than those who believe they are powerful, are so scared of somebody with microphone, a laptop, and a camera. You know? So Obi believes that they shouldn't have been arrested at all. Then he went on to answer other questions, which will now take us to another story.
Yeah, there's a plan by Sowore to organize a free Nnamdi Kanu protest this week. I don't know if you are in tune with that arrangement.
Well, let me tell you, I've always been consistent on Nnamdi Kanu's flights. There was no need for the arrest in the first place. And I've always said that for me, and discuss with anybody who said it clearly, and I meant there. And I thank those who actually trying to do with what I'm saying for a long time. go and check what I've said 2020, 2022, even 2024. I've said, and now that he has gone, because he's been to court, the rules should be followed. Not just for Nnamdi Kanu, for all agitators across the nation. Let's dialogue with them. There's nothing wrong with anybody agitating or saying, let's dialogue with them. And whatever we do with them, let's follow the rules. So I thank the organizers and I thank those who are involved. Thank you.
The results of the outcome of the 2022 election, they remain in public domain as debates up to today. Obviously because of the role of INEC and other political factors. Today we have a new INEC chairman in place and we are working towards a new general election. What are your expectations for this new leadership of INEC regarding conduct, outcome of the process?
Very simple. He's a Nigerian. We want a new Nigeria where elections will be free, fair, and credible. And that people who have the competence, the capacity, the compassion, the character and commitment to lead the nations are elected. It's for good of everybody. None of us is going to be here forever. And none of us is going to be in our position forever. So whatever position we find ourselves is to do the right thing. So I wish him well. When he's confirmed, I will congratulate him and tell him to know that one day he's going to leave that post. Let him ensure that he keeps his reputation.
Well, a lot of your followers, especially among the obedient movement, are quite worried about your presence in the ADC because many people actually perceive that it will seem Atiku has a strong hold on that coalition and they fear you will not get it.
Let me tell you, first is that Atiku is a very dear elder brother and leader that I have a lot of respect for. I'm a member of Labour Party and I belong to the coalition forming ADC for presidential election in 2027. And I can tell you, other parties are going to join, other people are going to be part of it. Other people are going to be part of it.
So does it mean that they are meeting with because there are people that are going to move to PDP? Are you still talking about that go to PDP?
All of us are going to come together as a people. That's my belief. That for us to do the right thing for the country, all well-meaning people now have to come together to rescue the country.
Are you assuring Nigerians that you'll be on the ballot for 2027?
I'm contesting, and I'm sure I will be. And people who have looked at it, they have to look at who is competent, who have the capacity.
Yeah, there's a plan.
The first part of that interview is what I am mostly interested in, but the last part of it is also like, it is like the connection to our next story. But that's it. It's never kind of like hidden that. He said he will sit down and negotiate with these agitators, listen to them, and see how much of the reasons for their agitations that the government can actually address with the, the immediate, the medium terms, and then the longer terms. Something that is practically telling you that the self-determination advocacy, as long as it remains peaceful, right, is not a crime. And by law, it is not. So what the APC, what they have done is that they have tried to demonize those who are not under their payroll or in their control, demonize them, criminalize their activities, while it's in the same breath, you are saying the worst of the worst, getting sort of like pampered, like you are seeing with the terrorists. And as for the last party, Obi will be running in 2027. Well, he said that up to 10 times, right? So whatever it is, they are cooking behind the scene. There are those who believes that Tinubu's move right now is actually a very bad one in chess. Because as everything is going right now, it's more or less like Tinubu has more or like closed it. Because they are already bragging that before the end of 2026, that there will be more like 7 more governors that would have joined them. So which they would have become 30, like APC will become like a 30 states, right? They will be the majority in the National Assembly everywhere. So something that gives this winning kind of like, confidence. Here you get. Or in chess, that could be dangerous at the end of the day because you have no idea what could be pulled. Because some are saying that all of this is a sign of, it may look like a sign of strength, but it's actually a sign of fear. Do you get that now? Of weakness, where everybody around them is always like saying the good things, the nice things. Do you get that now? And you could tell that they are just more or less like acting it. Do you get what I mean? A script they're acting because that's what makes the emperor happy, right? So they are giving him this sense of like victory, sense of here you get. So he won't have to worry anymore that much. But the opposition, which Peter Obi is one of them, they believe that they still have this trick up their sleeves that they're going to pull on Tinubu. How are they going to do that? They say that time will tell, right? But with a wiki took on, the same Obi today. But we're going to come back to that. After we go to their National Assembly to meet their new INEC chairman, Joshua Amiputan. Yeah. So he got screened today, which is just a formality, right? So he got screened at in the Senate today, where he was asked a few questions around that, introduce yourselves and all that stuff, right? Let's get onto it. Hey, hang on. Can we take a minute, just a minute, right? To like the broadcast. It's really important, right? So take a minute, okay? I'm going to put a clip on, right? Or like the broadcast. We should do better than this. If we are nearly 1,000 on YouTube, there's no reason why we can't have like 500 of us who have already liked the broadcast, at least by now. Thank you. Now let's go on. The new INEC chair is been confirmed, by the way. So, Akpabiole, who supervised the entire screening process, like, presided, that's the word, presided over the screening process, said that was his first time of seeing the INEC chairman. That he's never seen INEC chairman before. I was like, what? What's he talking about? I don't know.
Mangono will use the balance of 30 seconds. So, and then we go to this side where Senator Father Honsi will comment so that we go up.
Mr. President, Buhari Abdul Fattah, or not?
But just before you ask, you need to know that you don't need to raise your hand. I've recognized the fact that every senator would like to ask questions. Even if it's repetitive, it doesn't matter to me. What matters is that you try and bring out the experiences from your constituencies so that he will be in a position to comment them. Yeah. This is the only time you have to see him. I've never seen an INEC chairman in my life. This is the first time. So please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Buhari
Abdi joke. It makes all kind of jokes like that. Like the joke of ADC crashing. Have you heard of that? It's a horrible joke. And the area ones took it badly. They took it like badly. So Akpabiole was referring to those who are decamping to APC, leaving their parties and all that. So it's now like talking about all the other parties. PDP is dead. That's what he said. PDP is dead. Labour Party is ADC. That one even crashed. And you remember that ADC plane crash? that killed the Sultan. I think it was the Sultan of Sokoto back then that crashed and all that, right? So they took it bad. Like, why would you say ADC crashed? Like, you know. Anyway, that's his first time of seeing the INEC chairman in his life. Unintended. So here is the INEC chairman is meeting for the first time in his life. Amiputan, the next guy. You are about to vent your region. Get ready.
Man, and in the reverse, a woman to a man. So I am not oblivious of the constitutional powers and authority of the Senate of Federal Republic of Nigeria. I want to thank the President of the Federal Republic as well as the Council of State for nominating me for this very, very important task of service to Federal Republic of Nigeria. Your Excellency, distinguished senators, my name is Joash Amiputan. I am a professor of law with specialization in law of evidence and corporate governance. I therefore stand before you today honored to be considered for the position of the chairman of Independent National Electoral Commission. I want to start with my early life. I was born on the 25th day of April 1967 in a town that is known and called Ayetorogbede in the Jumu local government area of Kogi State. So, late Chief Joseph Benson Amiputan and late Mrs. Alice Amiputan. My formative years were nurtured in the environment East Primary School in Ayetorogbede between 1971 and 1976. Just to say, Your Excellency, distinguished senators, that my parents were teachers. My mother grew up to be the headmistress, the famous headmistress in our place, and my father metamorphosized to become president of Upper Area Courts. So, following my primary education, to also mention that as at that time, you were allowed to write common entrance. I wrote my common entrance and was admitted for my secondary education because I passed at St. Barnabas Secondary School in Kogi State. Now, higher education. My pursuit of legal knowledge took me to the Kwara State College of Technology, which is now known as Kwara State Polytechnic, for my HSC, that is School of Basic Studies. At that time, you go for your HSC and you obtain an A-level qualifications. IGMB A-levels and GCE A-levels. That was between 1982 to 1984. Upon my graduation from the secondary school, I proceeded to the University of Jos, where I obtained the LLB Honors degree in 1987, consequent upon which I emerged as the best graduating student at that time. And I am happy to report, Your Excellency, distinguished senators, that I won all the awards available at that time. Before I proceeded to the Nigerian Law School in Lagos in 1987-88, where I was called to the Nigerian bar on the 3rd day of November 1988. After obtaining my LLB, my BL degree, I went on national assignment, which was consequent upon the laws of the National Assembly. Upon graduation, you proceed on national service for the purpose of integration. I was posted to Bauchi State, where I served in Bauchi State Publishing and Printing Corporation, publishers of the Trumpeter. I serve as judicial, police.
That's okay. Brilliant CV. Great life experience. You know what I mean? And he also looked like a perfect gentleman. Amiputan. Ah, man, this guy looks like somebody who will know what he's doing. I mean, he sounds so meticulous. It sounded like, they have sold you. Nigeria is a country. If you have another one, you can please tell me, and I stand to be corrected. Nigeria is a country. It's the only country in the whole world where elections are conducted by university lecturers. Do you understand? University lecturers, professors, they are returning officers. They will be given the rules of the election, but half of them, and I'm being generous here, half of them understands the different rules, like something different. But yeah, this is the rules of elect, blah, blah, yeah. Then they will sit down and supervise the flawed elections that will then bring in certificate forgers, treasury looters, repeated criminals, career criminals, who will then come to power. After they will give them money, like they will pay them specially, like in millions. Then once those ones now takes power, they will start stealing their pension, their salary, their promotion. So within a year, they will be back on the streets doing solely that. I say, well, ASU is going to go and say, but then they fight for the slots, INEC slot for elections. People they pay to get their name included in INEC electoral business. And the reason is because they're going to make more money. I don't think there is anywhere you have intellectuals in the world that actually do that. That's why I said that I stand to be corrected. You can correct me and say, no, Maiyegun, they do it for, okay. I'm from that place, so I know what I'm talking about, right? Why would you rig elections for criminals who are going to end up stealing your pension? And then you do that every 4 years, Same thing. I don't think they do it anywhere else. So, Amiputan continued. Now, let's go to the technical part. I think the last time you introduced technology to your election and it was meant to help stop rigging or control it to the barest minimum, then you flopped it on the day of election. They had what they call the waivers, screens you, takes your picture, accredits you before you can vote. They've got the PVC, they've got PVC, which is the card, voter's card, poverty validation card, PVC. So you have that. Somebody else can use it. They've taken your biometrics. Then you now realize that that biometric, not everybody then take biometric. Some people, they just did it for them manually. Like everything is actually not uniform. If they tell you that, we are going to upload results as people are voting, right? Then you realize that, they are talking about some places, not everywhere, because other places, they are still going to have to write it to say, but that was not what they told us. Well, that's INEC for you. So what's he going to do different? He said he's going to review. I don't know what that means, right? Review the, share you get. So, Amiputan.
Section 155 is an independent body. And it is one of the commissions that is on first line charge. But one of the problems we've had with independence on its own and autonomy has to do with the practicality in terms of finances. I have not taken over to know the nitty-gritties, but I want to say from past experience, although it has been legislated that funds should be released at least a year before the election, but you find out that this does not come in time, and then the envelope system still made the institution to be constrained financially. And then there's sometimes what we call ignorance of authority and power. The Constitution has granted you autonomy, but it's possible you are even ignorant of the autonomy. So we will look at the spirit and the letters of the Constitution, as well as the laws made by the National Assembly, to use our knowledge to ensure that INEC is independent. And we'll have an audit to see what are those factors, and we shall deal with them accordingly. I can give that assurance, Excellency. Very well, sir. Your Excellency, distinguished senators, the purpose of introducing BVAS and IREF was to ensure the integrity of the election. And that is the purpose of technology all over the world. I believe what happened in 2023, which was subsumed as a glitch, before we went into the election, my own understanding and based on the review of the decisions of Supreme Court, we found that there was no clarity as to the purpose of BVAS, of IREF. Not until the Supreme Court came out to say that IREF was not an electronic collation system. And that position was not properly brought out before the election. The INEC was supposed to be a safeguard for comparison, because the laws made by this distinguished Senate did not do away with manual collation. But however, IREF was supposed to provide some guarantees and checks and balances. But owing to the issues of glitches, which in simple time, I understand as improper configuration, especially during the presidential election, that eroded the confidence of so many people. So, as His Excellency the Senate President said, I have to audit the system if I'm given the opportunity to see what is actually wrong and whether we have what it takes as it is now. Because it is not just the INEC responsibility alone. You have the other agencies like NCC, NIMC, and the service providers that will have to work together to ensure that we give Nigerian a technology that everybody will be happy about. And I want to believe that the question of the minority leadership is also similar to that. There will definitely be an audit of what the system we are meeting, and especially of the logistic of the election itself, and ensure that the proper strategy is put in place. We all know the problem. So we'll find a proper strategy to be able to confront those problems headlong. I give one example. Logistic problem. We rely on third-party logistics to transport sensitive election materials. Some of the vehicles, when you see them, they are old. And they don't even go far. And when they drop the materials, they don't even remain to bring back. So when they abandon the voting and the results, and collation is made or to transport, you now have to be hiring machines and so we need to take it serious and ensure, even if INEC has to go into some form of logistic on its own to ensure that that aspect. I'm just giving you one example that I know. Thank you, sir.
You're going to write in home budget soon, and they're likely going to need the. It's not wrong, like I said. They always sounded like, oh, that's sensible, because he's also a Nigerian. He saw all that happened, right? That people said trust has been eroded. That people are not really like keen about their charade any longer. So how can you bring that back? Well, yeah, we're going to try to figure out how to, Then they will write the budget. 2027 budget, INEC budget, 480 billion. Or, hang on, maybe INEC will actually really get to 1 trillion this time for your 2027. Something where we say they should just go do coronation for Tinubu. You get what I mean? Yeah, considering inflation, and if you consider that they spent nearly 250 billion in 2023, and if you have to consider what has happened after 2023, when it comes to your currency value, so you may likely need 1.2 trillion to conduct your election next one, and all of that is there to kind of like rig it, waste it. In the same National Assembly, there is a bit of an exchange between Syriac Dixon, the senator from Bayelsa, whose governor just left their party yesterday. And there is this short convo between himself and Akpabiole. And it borders on why people are leaving PDP. It's obvious that the PDP's end, right, is being orchestrated from within. So which means if you remain there, by 2027, you will be politically dead. Because if they have nobody to sign your INEC form, excuse me, do you get what I mean? Like, if you want to run for office, right? So there is an authorized person that has to sign your form. The secretary, the chairman. So PDP has been without any central structure for years now, since with the weakest, So right now, majority of them are jumping ship because according to them, they do not want to wait till the last minute, right? That's why they are jumping ship. So, and that's what Akpabiole told Dixon here.
As he rightly said, integrity, patriotism, and above all, courage to do the right thing and capacity to be fair. Most of them are first-class scholars. You, at your age, have invested with this responsibility to make Nigeria proud. And look at our neighboring country, Ghana. The general elections they conduct. The last one specifically, presidential election, no litigation. Even before the final vote, the tally was counted, the sitting vice president, who was candidate of the ruling party, called President Mahama, now in office, and considered fit. So even within our West African sub-region, there's no doubt that we are clearly not acting as the giants of Africa when it comes to electoral integrity. So my comment will be,
question.
What will you do differently to write your name in gold to ensure that the results that will be announced will reflect the will of the people, so that everybody will congratulate one another and go and prepare for the next election. That way, Nigeria will renew its leadership and will reinforce our national identity and pride. Elections should not bring us down or make us look small or divide us. And you are aware of the enormous responsibility that history beckons on you. What would you do differently? But like I said earlier, use this opportunity to address the issues that have been speculated, rightly or wrongly, so that you can from now build a foundation of integrity and confidence on the people. Were you a part of the president's legal team or no? Thank you.
Well, I would have said, if you had spoken without asking question and a mischievous question, it would have looked as if you are no longer in opposition. But when you mentioned Ghana and other West African countries, they actually borrowed from Nigeria. You are from Bayelsa State, representing a section of Bayelsa. Recall that when the last election was done, even before the final announcement, the then president, Jonathan, who was from Bayelsa, congratulated President Buhari, even before the final election was done. Clearly, and I'm also aware that in 2007, the elections were not very good. That even the person who won came out and said, I must reform the electoral system. And that was late President Yar'Adua. May his soul rest in peace. He said so himself. And by the time he finished, in 2011, when I contested for second term as a governor, I can tell it was much better. The litigations were less than 30% of what we had in 2007. So I know that as the election improves, not just the participants have confidence to congratulate their opponents. So that's what they are telling him. He should go and he should conduct where what? Where what? At that time, PDP was not torn into shreds. No, Senator Ningi, at that time, the PDP was not torn into shreds. But there's no human being that is sane today that can even go to such a platform, because you are going straight into litigation. You are going straight into litigation. So let us not discuss with the incoming chairman of INEC as if we are giving him a clue, because you are going straight into litigations. Who is going to sign your form? Senator Sasa.
Yeah. So that was kind of like the jive there. The other guy in that same Senate who was supposed to be talking about the screening, I think, is the ex-convicts, Ojiuzo Kalu. But instead, his own complaint is about the Nigerian pilots. According to him, this is a case of national security. Nigerian pilots, they smoke Igbo. That's what he said. They are smoking their hemp. So, like, we are screening the INEC chairman, like, waiting you smoke. Uzokalu. It's very serious. So, yeah, like something like that. Objection. This house need to know that Nigerian pilot, they smoke Igbo. I was like, what? Like, Igbo Baguwala. Next chairman to be cleared or not to be cleared, they will only, okay. But because it's very serious, it's part of the, in the National Assembly this morning.
Motion, I would like to make few comments. It's not only what our colleagues have written in the paper. The authorities that look after, I seconded the motion. I've seconded it, and I'm making few comments. I feel that the authorities guiding this pilot, some of them are very lousy. In many occasions, I've stopped to fly because of inadequacy of pilots' preparation. Some of the pilots are not prepared. Some of them, use India hemp. Yes, it's true. Some of them smoke India hemp, and some of them are not properly audited by the authorities. I am telling you what I know, because the NCA and NEMA and other authorities are not looking after these pilots and checking them on drugs. On the spot assessment, they are not doing it because it is dangerous. And you see them walking into the airplane, nobody checked their blood pressure, nobody checked anything, nothing, and their drug level. Not that aircraft, most of them 737-500 have a automatic landing gear system. It doesn't need the pilot to land the plane. What needs to land the plane is the computer, autopilot. But because some of them are high, they are not going to do this thing. Because any aircraft that is of new generation don't need the pilot to fly. Landing and takeoff is purely automatic. So most of these pilots are so careless. I have witnessed, I have seen by myself, I've come to fly. I told my pilots, I said, no. I don't think we are normal today. You have to go back home. So all these agencies must come back home to look after these pilots and what do you call them? And the cabin staff. Because some of them take this Indian like cigarette. They won't tell you. If you go close to them, you will smell it. So NCA must come back to their duty, because again, the Minister of Aviation must be forced to do a quarterly
your term is off.
It is smoke Igbo. It is take India. It is smoke Igbo. It is take India.
They take Indian. Our Igbo Oshogbo weed have been a very ground weed. Yeah. Now waiting concern everybody chat, they push. So it's a joke, all right? So it's a different conversation. It's not the screening of the INEC chair. I just kind of like to infuse that into it. Because it happened in the National Assembly, in the Senate. You get me now? So it wasn't during the screening. So scratch that. But yeah, it's concerned the Nigerian pilots, they smoke Igbo. They smoke their hemp. Now going forward, right? Where the weekend was in Abuja earlier today, where he was inaugurating a new road that they want to repair. You know, he's been doing that. He said he's going to do that for 30 days or something. So he's going to be doing that every day. They would throw parties when they want to come and repair your road, or they want to come and do anything. Here you get now to tell you that they want to do something. Right. So it was somewhere, and he said a citizen called them and reported that the road is bad. So now they are there to fix it. Compared to online president, referring to Peter Obi, he said Peter Obi is a social media president that will continue to contest on social media. That Obi came to Abuja, attended, and visited a school. And then he came out and they started saying that we should build toilets. All the schools are dilapidated. All the schools are shaking. Waiting Obi will not build toilet for Anambra. That's what he said. He said Obi that did not even do anything for 8 years as governor in Anambra is now there coming to come and tell them to come and put the toilet. The schools are dilapidated. Are your schools dilapidated? Are your charity? All of them said no. Something like that. So with a wiki sending his usual jibe the way of Obi.
Give me responded. If I don't have an office there, if I don't live there, but because he has to use this road and he has to call my attention. Is he attending the low senior advocate of Nigeria? That is what good citizens, responsible citizens should do. Not that going to social media and begin to castigate government just for political purposes. Then I want to say, on behalf of Flag After Flag Administration, we want to thank you. On behalf of Mr. President, we want to thank you for calling our attention. Ordinarily, I would have changed the name of this street to your name, but I don't know who can Israel before they will bring ethnicity down. But let me assure you, FCT will also honor you for being a good citizen. I'm very happy for that. Thank you very much. It is not some people because of politics. For example, I hear one of the social media presidential candidates went to one of the local authority area schools. I was saying that government will abandon public schools. In particular, his name is Mr. P2B. It is not everything you must play politics. But let me say this. P2B, you are governor for 8 years in Anambra State. If you have finished all the jobs in 8 years, nobody will be talking about developing Anambra right now. 8 years. Instead of developing Anambra, you took the money and put it in the bank you have in Fidelity Bank. And why do you have problem with your successor? Anambra State had problems. The money was not to develop Anambra State. You only prefer profit and put the money for the development of Anambra State in the bank you have the largest share. So a profit will be coming and Anambra will be suffering. Mr. P2B, we just came into office 2 years ago. We have not even stayed 4 years, but you stayed 8 good years. Compare 2 years in office of what we have done in the FCT and compare 8 years in office in Anambra. Can you really say you love this country? Can you really say you love Anambra? Certainly not. If I were you, why not be quiet? And not this, you cannot be president of Nigeria only when you go to one IDP. Oh, I want to go for a birthday party. I want to do my birthday party in IDP camp. Who's the person in know those things? During your birthday party in IDP camp, does not make you to feel that you love Nigeria or you want to do anything for Nigeria. When you are governor, why did you do your birthday party in IDP camp? It's now you want to be president every day. I go to my birthday with the less privilege. Who will you deceive and all this So, for again, we will show you in next week what we are able to do in our public schools. 2 years. And you are talking about 8 years. Everything must not be propaganda. If you feel so much, as I'm even the minister of FCT, I cannot claim I know everywhere in Abuja. It's not possible. So if you're a responsible citizen, if you're a good citizen, it's not just to go to social media to think that they will love you. You continue to contest as president in social media, but not as president of Nigeria. You run as president under a party, you cannot manage the party. Ordinary party. You cannot manage the party. To hold the party together, you cannot. It is Nigeria of 230 million people that you want to manage. You know a good answer. You know a good answer from the first step. From the first step, you know a good answer. Party of so many people, crisis, you can't hold them. They want to get me responding.
like there is something about this Peter Obi. Share you get that really, really start to these guys enough that they are very obsessed with him. As it is today, it is like which party does Peter Obi belong to? Is he in ADC, their coalition, or is he in Labour Party? He said he is in Labour Party, right? So, if with the current state of Labour Party, you are going to say, no, they are not a threat, Jare. It should be a threat to them that they have to spend a lot of time. But these are local government projects. So this madness that this Wike is doing, local government projects, all these like streets kind of supposed project, drainages, 500 meter road, and all that kind of stuff, the primary health centers, schools, primary schools, and all that. They are supposed to be the local government projects. I think they are called AMAC or something. Is that called AMAC or something? I don't know. But they are the local government areas. Then he spent the time talking about Peter Obi. How Peter Obi puts the Anambra State money in his bank for profit. Something that has been completely debunked, but for politics, of course, they will have to keep saying it. And he kept challenging them that if you know any penny of Anambras that went missing, at this point, if you can share it, I won't even do all this anymore. Then he started attacking his goodwill gesture, visiting the IDP, this and that. You know what I mean? And he said, criticizing the government is politicizing. What is he talking about? It's politics. He is an opposition. You that is already campaigning, like you are going everywhere, organizing parties because you want to tell them you want to come and renovate this 1 kilometer road. And then you use the occasion to remind them why they must pay back or why they must support Tinubu, why this or that. Is that not what you're doing? He told them, he said, there as a minister, I cannot know everywhere in Abuja. Are you mad? And they agreed. They say, yeah. Are you crazy, man? You should know everywhere of your city. How can you be a city mayor and you have no idea? You tell people confidently and say, I don't have to know everywhere. And they say, yeah, you don't have to. Like, are you for real? So they talk and listen to themselves. And it's quite kind of like funny. Because to Paulishe, yesterday Paulishe was with Sheung, and he was talking about the end of PDP, this and that. And then he said, the only person who has traction that could cause another upset is Peter Obi. And I'm saying, how now? Because they know he's the only guy that the moment he starts saying that, oh yeah, let's go like that. I mean, they are saying that he can't do that again, right? Some of them are even hoping that their obedient stuff have broken, like they are no longer like that anymore. But one thing is that some people might have made names during that their obedient movement and all that. Shege made name for themselves and all that. And then they put out, they are inconsequential. Do you understand? All those who became influencers because of this obedient thing, right? Then they later said, oh, I've seen the light and I'm not doing obedient again. I am upset because somebody said something and I'm not doing obedient. They are inconsequential. I'm saying it to you now, but you'll find out soon. They are purely inconsequential. The moment the guy becomes a candidate of any party, wala lewa. And that is why some are hoping that maybe around that time, all of these guys would have come together and just kind of like, since they are already together, right? So they just be behind him. But anything apart from that, it can still cause upset. Paul Leche said, even at that though, Tinubu will still have his way, right? So some are saying they are using reverse psychology. All this talk about Obi in itself, right? Don't get me wrong. You know me, I dey hear things a lot from everywhere, right? So some are saying that all this talk about Obi, considering the current situation of things, right? So say talk about this Obi is like a reverse psychology of the things to ensure that no matter what happened, Peter Obi must run. So if Atiku use that his projected influence to keep the ADC, and he keeps their tickets, so that means Atiku, Obi, and Tinubu. And it will be in Tinubu's favor. So why are they talking about Obi? Why is he so dreaded? Some said it's out of respect of Paulishe. Yeah.
Going nowhere. They have their purpose, they know what they want to do. Is it because of your APC interest? That's why you're saying they are going nowhere. That's what
you said 2 years ago about all these happenings in PDP. That day, the same way you are criticizing me. Today, I welcome your criticism. Have you seen me taking appointment of the APC? Have you seen me taking appointment from APC? Actually, you asked me, Oshoko, what would we give you? I said nothing, sir. At 65, I'd rather be at home, being more responsible, doing other things that I need to do. I've served well. 2-term governor, I've done well. Tomorrow, let tomorrow hold itself. I'm not hobnobbing with APC, but I've been Ashwaju's friend and brother for a long time. That is the truth. You are.
Well, I mean, so Governor Fayose, you are the same man who will, for example, go on the street of Ado-Ekiti and you will eat pounded yam amala with the average person. You will ride on Okada in Ado-Ekiti.
Yes.
You understand the nuances of the average person. The purchasing power have dropped. There are a lot of them that are screaming. Yes, we do know that the microeconomic aspect, microeconomic side of things are looking where but the micro is still suffering. A lot of people are still not feeling it. How then would you be able to support your claim that this government is going to win an election? On what basis, on what grounds will they be able to campaign in 2027? Or you think things would have changed before then?
Tell me who will defeat APC. You know, the only opposition that I know that is in Nigeria, let me tell you now. The only opposition, I didn't say the opposition can win Ashwaju. The only opposition that is, the only person that still have traction, that has traction is Obi. No other one, no, everybody.
What about Goodluck Jonathan?
You see,
what about Goodluck Jonathan?
Jonathan has not.
What about Amechi? What about Atiku?
I have said it generally, sir. The only. So that has answered it, sir. I have no apologies. The only voice that has traction.
Governor Fayose,
talking. That
Governor
is everywhere.
Quickly.
Despite not being in government, is Obi. I give it to him. But let me tell you, sir, all others, they are filling the gaps. I spoke to you.
So that explains it, the obsession. When Bayo Onofunuga was to announce that the Nigeria inflation dropped, headline inflation dropped from 20% or so to 18.1%. Do you know what he started with? It was like the news of the inflation in Nigeria dropping will not excite Peter Obi and is obedient. I was like, guy, you are supposed to be the spokesperson for president of Nigeria. And you want to tell everybody that the inflation has dropped, but you started the first 2 lines or 3 lines with this news will not excite Peter Obi and disobedient, which is a dog whistle. A dog whistle for the Ronukus to hurry, come here, just in case if this obedient started abusing me. So in the process, what was supposed to be something that everybody will look at and kind of like discuss turned to obedient versus the Agbadomite under the supposed special advisor to the president on social media's post on social media. Do you get it now? So the obsession can well be explained. He will never be president. Obi will never be president. Obi will this and that. You know what I mean? I said, okay, fine, that's okay. But Baba, every day, then you can call it obsession. So imagine if he now becomes the face of the opposition. So that is what Fauleche is talking about, that there are still some of you who are ready to ignore all of these excess baggages, these extra baggages, the likes of the career criminals that, you know, he called them a name, he gave them a name, the structure of criminalities, the criminals. Some of you are ready to ignore them if it Obi becomes and that is what Fauleche is talking about. Obi is the only person who has, in Nigeria of today, who has organic supporters that will spend their own money. They will rather spend their own money than take money from him before they support him. They don't look forward to him to send them money for campaigns or anything. They raised their fund, they mobilized themselves, they went on the streets without anybody having to promise them anything. So he's the only guy. There are those who have said that they will never do it again, but you have no idea. And that is why somehow they will rather make sure he runs separately so that Tinubu will have his way and this whole madness will continue, according to Fauleche. But if you see anybody that picks up the PDP's ticket, according to Fauleche, they are purely picking up a tissue paper, a trash. It's worthless because he's very much aware that there are more governors of PDP still going to join Tinubu. They've concluded it's just about time.
Breathing. Is the PDP brain dead or the PDP is actually dead?
Let me tell you very well. Let me tell you there are other 3 governors that will leave soon. There will be 5 remaining. The 5 remaining, one of them will want to struggle to catch the tickets, just to catch them and catch fund for it. And they all know that the ticket is an ordinary toilet roll paper, ordinary tissue paper. The 5 remaining, they are largely killing the party because they want to control the party. This was what happened in 2023. You might take it or leave it. And let me equally tell you, majority of the governors in PDP, including the person himself that wants to be candidate, that is struggling to manipulate the whole system, all they are doing is to come and negotiate so that they don't get into trouble thereafter. That is the truth. This thing, we have gone through it. A lot of them knows what they are doing. You understand? So I will not...
But Governor Fauleche, when you were governor...
Nigeria. PDP, wallet or wallet way. They were telling them to change their name the other day, but they're like, no, they will revive, but they are just deceiving themselves because it's always transactional. Nigerian politics is transactional in a very bad way, Neil. You get? So they are going to print manifesto. He's talking about Solo Makinde Ibadan. Do you understand? So Solo Makinde Ibadan is considered as a betrayer in the camp of Wike right now. Do you understand? He was supposed to be on their side. He was supposed to even decamp too. So they said that he's doing all of this just now so that when he becomes the candidate of PDP, we just have fun, blow some money here and there, or he's indeed negotiating. That's what Fauleche said. So when somebody asked Omoyele Sowore, why don't you just join them? I mean, deceive them. So when you get that power, you can deal with them. Like, why can't you just do that? And I bet some people have asked that similar questions before. Showore's answer.
Why not join? Why not join them? You understand? Because you keep telling them the truth and you keep going for trend. Why not join them? You understand? Work with them. You understand? Because they are corrupt. You understand? At the end of the day, you become the president. You betray them and let them know the true you. You understand? I don't know if I'm making sense. You understand? You understand? You cannot, throughout the history of Nigeria, everybody that is saying the truth is not winning. Everybody that is saying the truth is not winning. You understand? Why not join them and betray them later at the end? Since nobody wants to hear the truth, you understand? You're a good man. You always say the truth. You didn't win. You understand? Why not join them? You understand? And betray them at the end.
Okay, thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Your question is both philosophical and hilarious. Your first question, I want to start from you, is if I win, and what if I win and they don't let me? Well, there's no way, my brother, that I'm alive, that I will win election and somebody will cancel the election. This country will never witness another election again. But yes, it's either we win or we all lose together. We will not cancel an election that I won and then you enjoy an election that you did not win. That one I can promise you with my life. I bet my life on that. The second aspect, which is the question of whether you should join them or not. Let me tell you that the Nigerian leaders or rulers or misleaders we have today, they may not be smart, but they are very prolific in one thing. They can see through you. So if they know that you want to betray them, they have seen you in advance. Yes. Before you betray them, they would have buried you. And those who have joined them can come and testify to it. We have a lot of friends who joined them when I was in the university days. I don't even know where they are now. There are some of them that just joined them recently. There's nothing they can do to change the system. Because inside there is the cemetery of human conscience. The first thing they will go for is your conscience. They will bury you. And they know that the moment your conscience is gone and the public lose interest in you, there's nothing you can say again that will ever work. I have never joined them since I started my political life in the university, specifically in 1989. And I have no regret. But I'm sure if I joined them, I will not be standing in front of you today. Because even if you might listen to me, by the time I leave, you say, nah, them, with that. That is the truth. You can't join them and then decide to betray them. It's a process. Have you not seen some videos of people try to join them? They want to put you in a coffin. Take a video of you. Or they ask you to be naked and carry a calabash. When you want to not join them anymore, you will see yourself, as they say in Nigeria, you will see your life outside. But it is not a thing to do as a matter of convenience. If you know something is wrong, you cannot join it and then say you want to do something right later. It doesn't work like that.
Why not join?
It doesn't work like that. It's very right. If anybody tells you that, you know what, you know that I'm a very good person, right? But I need to join them to make a difference from inside. So you tell me how many people that you know personally, right? That they are like normal guys or correct guys. Some of them you even had confidence in them that if this person got it, if he has a chance, and then they turn to a different person entirely. Some of you even end up having to lose your relationship with them because you can no longer really relate with them. So what changed them? So when you see anybody that tells you, oh, you need to go inside there and make a difference. You know why you can make a difference in a system? Is that if you already have those within the system who are genuinely, right, fighting to keep the right thing done. And if there are those people, they will be making the news every now and then. When a minister or a governor, right, takes a case to court, a case that usually they can always get somebody to get you locked up, and the judiciary says, don't bring this kind of a case to the judiciary anymore. You got what I mean? And they begin to lose in the judiciary, they begin to lose that power. Then you probably will begin to kind of like believe in such a system, but you don't have anything like that. those ones that claim to be good, right? They are always culpable too. They just try to clear their conscience to say maybe, once in a while they try to do what is right. You get what I mean now? And those who 100% wanted to do what is right, you know what happened to them? They get axed within the system. They get squeezed out. So you can't go in such system and say you want to go and change it. Change what? It will change you. It will. And if you have that kind of understanding, okay, it will never by any means even entice you and say, man, I want to go and go on. Go try it. And then you see how you're going to change within the first 2 years, where you're going to find yourself where you probably have just been hearing you've never really been to. Yeah. I have been to a few of them, by the way, from experience. So I get what Sowore is saying there. But everything is not Nollywood. So practically, right, there are some certain things that morally you shouldn't even be part of it. Or if you want to join politics, morality doesn't do politics. Do you get that now? So that's what they say. And I think it's the same all over the world. It's just that the grid is kind of different, right? You can't do morality. If you want to do morality politics or moral politics, you better go and join the convent. Start off. So Umahi Sowore, we'll see how far your sincerity will take you, though. Right? So, ladies and gentlemen, this is where we're going to draw the curtain this evening. It's been, I think, an interesting evening, and we still couldn't get up to 500 of us that could like the video. So if you haven't liked the broadcast, please do. All right? So I intend to see you again another time. Enjoy the rest of your evening or your afternoon. Right? Good night. Thank you. Please, after reading the caption of this broadcast, read the description as well, even though that doesn't really carry the whole story, but it gives you an idea of what this whole conversation is all about. After that, like the broadcast. Yeah, at that point, it will be good for you to also share the broadcast. To invite your friends, your not so friendly friends, and tell them to join us. Maiyegun today, Maiyegun is live. Thank you very much, brethren. And you are welcome to the Temple of Truth. Again, sometimes people will say, oh yeah, you are a seer. How did you know that and all that? I'm like, no, come on. My own business is to get you interested in what is going on in that contraption, beyond the headlines, beyond the propagandas, beyond the lies, which is the propaganda, so that you can reflect on what you have access to know on Maiyegun's diary Politico. And they do help. They do help by guiding you to understand the characters in charge of the Nigerian political space. Generally, people believe or are kind of like agreed that the worst of us are those who are ruling us. I use us here like in general term, because whatever they do, good or bad, in fact, good and bad, right, affects millions of people. And that makes it our business. And once you realize the characters that are parading the political space of Nigeria, including the characters that are making decisions for the country, at the same time, these characters are also those who represent the interest of the country. And what they have done so far has shown very much that, they are the worst of us. Now, having known that, then we can go into understanding the consequences of their actions and their inactions by pointing out first their actions and their inactions, in a way, you are going to end up in a place, the place that people like myself have been for a while, a place of stop trying to save this contraption. The best is to break it up. But you'll get there. I do not want to kill your enthusiasm or your optimism about this whole thing. But in reality, you can get to know that it's likely going to be effort in futility, hoping and hoping. Or maybe, just maybe something will happen once majority of you realizes where this is headed. And that is not where you wanted the whole journey to be. What do I mean by that? Once maybe the majority realizes these characters for whom they are, and that their words means absolute trash, nothing. And then you realize that if things continues like this and unabated, the end will be much, much catastrophic. So it's either you do something or you just follow the entire trajectory until you get to that situation and see those who survive and those who don't. The option or the choice will be yours. But you won't get to that stage without knowing, right? You will understand, like we have done, you will understand the entire things along the way. So you will stop lying to yourselves so that whenever Nigeria arrive at that that tragic end, as these guys are taking her, right? You are not going to feign ignorance then. It will completely be totally your own, either through your support, which is as an enabler. I don't like making it look like I'm speaking in parables round around. So let's get down to it. You have supposedly a federal system of government, and you are again supposedly practicing democracy, constitutional democracy, which is not, but we'll come back to that one. So you have a situation whereby the interest of the criminal politicians supersedes the interest, supposed interest of the